Everyone faces moments when getting up feels impossible and pushing forward seems too hard. This book is about those moments, how to take control, build habits, and keep moving even when it hurts or you want to quit. It will guide you step by step, showing you simple and practical ways to improve your life every day. You'll learn how to face fears, stay focused, beat doubt, and turn setbacks into fuel for growth. This is not about quick fixes, but about real change that lasts. If you're ready to stop making excuses and start winning at your own life, this is the guide you need to stick with. The path won't always be easy, but what you gain will be worth every effort. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Take control of your mornings and set daily focus. Waking up in the morning is not just the start of another day. It is the point at which you set the tone for everything that follows. The way you approach those first moments after opening your eyes often determines how you think, how you act, and ultimately how you live. Many people underestimate this simple truth. Rushing into their mornings without intention, grabbing their phones, reacting to notifications, and allowing the world to decide what gets their attention first. This reactive approach creates chaos and sets the stage for distraction, procrastination, and a lack of clarity. To live with purpose and direction, the morning must become your strongest foundation. Most people think mornings are simply a matter of waking up at a certain time, but there is far more depth to it. The first minutes after you wake up set a mental pattern. If you reach for your phone, your mind instantly jumps into reactive mode. If you wake up late, you start the day in a rush, carrying stress into every task. If you skip the opportunity to pause, reflect, and decide your direction, you hand over control to circumstance. The difference between a day that feels productive and one that feels wasted often comes down to whether you entered the morning with intention or allowed it to pull you wherever it wanted. Control over your mornings begins the night before. Without enough rest, no amount of motivation will keep you disciplined. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a necessity for clear thinking, emotional balance, and physical strength. Going to bed at a consistent time sends a signal to your body that you respect your energy and your goals. It also helps you wake up without that dragging, heavy feeling that tempts you to snooze the alarm and steal from your own potential. Each night, prepare for the next day with small but important actions. Set out your clothes, decide your top priorities, and clear the space where you'll start your morning. When you remove small barriers in advance, you lower the resistance to starting strong. Once you wake, the first decision you make matters more than you think. Choosing to get up immediately when the alarm rings builds self-respect. Each time you win that first battle, you reinforce the mindset that you are in control. Delaying, on the other hand, plants the seed that comfort has more authority than commitment. This small choice, repeated daily, shapes your identity over time. If you see yourself as someone who takes action without hesitation, you will start making faster, stronger decisions in every other part of your life. A focused morning begins with clarity of mind. Before engaging with the noise of the outside world, take time to direct your attention inward. Spend a few minutes in stillness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or quiet reflection. This is not about empty rituals. It's about training your mind to choose focus instead of chaos. In those early minutes, you have the power to decide your mood, your outlook, and your priorities. By pausing before you act, you send a signal to yourself that your mind, not external events, is in charge. The next step is movement. Your body and mind are connected. When you move physically, you also awaken mentally. Exercise in the morning doesn't have to mean a long workout. It could be stretching, a brisk walk, or a short set of bodyweight exercises. The point is to wake up your body's systems, increase blood flow, and activate your energy. Movement early in the day also builds resilience. You train yourself to take action even before you feel completely ready. This discipline carries over into work, relationships, and every challenge you face. Once you've awakened your body, nourish it properly. What you consume in the morning affects your energy and focus for hours. A heavy, processed breakfast can make you sluggish, while balanced, nutrient-rich foods help you stay alert. Water should be your first intake after waking. It replenishes your system after hours of rest and supports brain function. The act of making healthy choices early in the day reinforces your ability to make disciplined choices later. With your mind calm and your body active, the most important part of controlling your morning comes next. Setting your daily focus. Too many people begin the day with vague intentions, hoping productivity will happen naturally. It rarely does. Clarity is the key. Identify no more than 3 top priorities for the day, tasks that will make the most significant difference if completed. Write them down, keep them visible, and structure your time so they receive your best energy. This practice prevents you from scattering your attention and getting lost in low-value activities. Daily focus is not just about making a to-do list, it's about aligning your actions with your values. Ask yourself, if I only achieved these 3 things today, would I still feel it was a success? This question forces you to choose what truly matters instead of being pulled into the urgent but unimportant tasks that fill so much of modern life. Once you know your priorities, protect them, block out time for deep work, silence unnecessary notifications, and avoid opening social media or email until you've made progress on the day's most important work. Controlling your mornings also means guarding your mental environment. The input you allow in the early hours influences your thinking all day. If you start with negative news or social media comparisons, you fill your mind with distraction and doubt before you've even begun. Replace that with uplifting, educational, or inspiring content. Read a few pages of a meaningful book, listen to a podcast that challenges your thinking, or review notes from a course you're taking. Fill your mind with information that strengthens you instead of weakening you. Another essential part of a powerful morning is reflection. Take a few minutes to review your long-term goals and remind yourself why they matter. This prevents you from losing sight of the bigger picture. It's easy to get caught in the details of the day and forget the direction you're heading. By reconnecting with your vision every morning, you keep your actions aligned with your purpose. This entire process, waking with intention, calming the mind, moving the body, nourishing it, setting priorities, and choosing empowering input, creates momentum. Momentum is what carries you forward when motivation fades. A strong morning routine does not guarantee a perfect day, but it increases your chances of success by putting you in the right mental, physical, and emotional state to face whatever comes. There will be days when everything feels difficult. You might be tired, stressed, or unmotivated. Those are the days when controlling your morning is most important. It is easy to stick to good habits when everything feels right, but the true measure of discipline is whether you can do it when you don't feel like it. Each time you follow your routine in the face of resistance, you strengthen the mental muscle that will help you win in every area of life. Taking control of your mornings does not mean you will never face challenges or setbacks. Life will still bring unexpected problems, and some days will go completely off track. But a solid morning routine gives you a stable starting point, a foundation that allows you to respond with strength instead of being overwhelmed. When you own your first hours, you gain an anchor that keeps you steady no matter how rough the rest of the day becomes. Over time, this habit transforms more than your productivity. It shapes your identity. You start seeing yourself as a disciplined, focused person. You stop feeling like life is happening to you, and start feeling like you are directing it. The discipline you build in the morning spills over into your relationships, your health, your finances, and your personal growth. People will notice the difference, not because you talk about it, but because it shows in the way you carry yourself and the results you achieve. The key is consistency. One strong morning will not change your life, but a year of strong mornings will transform it beyond recognition. The challenge is to commit not just when it's convenient, but every day. There will be temptations to skip it, to sleep in, to check your phone first thing, to tell yourself it doesn't matter today. Those are the moments that decide whether you are in control or whether comfort is. Your morning is a mirror of your priorities. If you give it to distractions, you tell yourself they are more important than your goals. If you give it to discipline, clarity, and focus, you remind yourself every day that your life matters enough to start with purpose. You have the power to make that choice every single morning. No one else can do it for you. If you want to improve your life, start by improving your mornings. Wake up with intention, move your body, focus your mind, choose your priorities, and guard your attention. These small, simple actions compound over time into extraordinary results. Success is not built in giant leaps. It's built in the quiet, consistent decisions you make when no one is watching, especially in those first hours of the day. When you take control of your mornings, you take control of your life. Every day becomes an opportunity, not a burden. You stop drifting and start directing. You stop reacting and start creating. And over time you discover that the discipline of a focused morning is not just about getting more done. It's about becoming the kind of person who wins, not by chance, but by choice. Chapter 2. Build unstoppable self-discipline through daily small actions. Self-discipline is the ability to act according to what you know is right, even when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. It is not a gift you are born with. It is a skill you can train and strengthen. Many people think discipline comes from big, dramatic changes, but the truth is, it grows from small, consistent actions that you repeat every single day until they become a natural part of who you are. Every choice you make either builds your discipline or weakens it, and those small choices compound over time into habits that shape your entire life. The mind is wired to seek comfort, avoid effort, and save energy. That is why you often feel resistance when trying to do something important, even if you know it will benefit you. Self-discipline is the muscle that pushes through that resistance. Like any muscle, it does not grow from thinking about it or waiting for motivation to appear. It grows when you practice it in small, controlled ways that gradually demand more from you. The secret is to start with something simple you can commit to every day, and then expand from there. One of the most effective ways to build discipline is to create a clear set of non-negotiable daily actions. These are small tasks you commit to doing no matter what. They should be realistic enough that you can follow through even on your busiest or most stressful days, yet meaningful enough to create progress. This could be reading for 10 minutes, doing a short workout, writing in a journal, or setting aside time to plan your day. By doing them daily, you prove to yourself that you can keep a promise, and that proof fuels your confidence to take on bigger commitments. When you start small, you bypass the common trap of burning out too quickly. Many people attempt extreme changes, trying to overhaul every part of their life overnight. They work hard for a few days, but cannot sustain the pace, and when they fail, they feel discouraged and stop trying. Small actions avoid this cycle by making the discipline feel achievable, even on difficult days. The focus is not on perfection, but on consistency. Missing a day is not the problem, quitting is. Tracking your progress adds another layer of strength to your discipline. Each time you mark a completed action, you create a visual reminder that your efforts are adding up. Whether you use a journal, an app, or a simple calendar, the act of recording your progress turns your daily actions into a streak you will want to protect. Over time, the idea of breaking that streak becomes harder than just doing the task itself. This is how small actions start to feel automatic. You reach a point where skipping them feels uncomfortable. Accountability can multiply your discipline. When you share your daily actions with someone who will check in on you, you create a sense of responsibility that goes beyond your own willpower. It could be a friend, a coach, or an online community, but the principle is the same. You are more likely to follow through when you know someone else will see whether you kept your commitment. Over time, the accountability shifts inward, and you begin holding yourself to the same standard, even without external pressure. Another key to building unstoppable self-discipline is learning to act regardless of your emotional state. Waiting until you feel like doing something is a trap because feelings are temporary and unreliable. The most disciplined people understand that you can take action while feeling tired, unmotivated, or even discouraged. This mental shift, deciding that feelings do not control your actions, will change how you approach every challenge in life. Small actions are also powerful because they strengthen your ability to delay gratification. Choosing to work on an important task instead of being distracted by something entertaining teaches your brain to value long-term rewards over short-term comfort. This is one of the core skills of self-discipline. Each time you choose effort over ease, you build a stronger connection between your actions and the future you want. The environment you create plays a major role in supporting or undermining your discipline. If your surroundings are full of distractions, temptations, and clutter, you will waste energy fighting against them. Simplifying your environment makes discipline easier. Remove items that pull your attention away from what matters. Organize the tools you need so they are ready to use without delay. Design your space so that the easiest choice is the right choice. Discipline also thrives on routines. When you do certain actions at the same time every day, they become part of your natural rhythm. You no longer spend energy deciding when or whether to do them. This reduces decision fatigue and leaves more mental energy for the tasks that truly require focus. Start by attaching new habits to existing ones. For example, if you already make coffee every morning, use that moment to also review your goals for the day. The pairing makes it easier to remember and repeat. While discipline requires consistency, it also requires self-awareness. Pushing yourself too hard without rest can lead to burnout, which will break your momentum. Small actions should be sustainable, not exhausting. The goal is to create a lifelong practice, not a short burst of willpower. Rest and recovery are part of discipline because they keep your mind and body in the condition needed to perform at your best. Self-discipline is not about controlling every part of your life to the point of rigidity. It is about creating enough structure to ensure that your actions match your values. This structure gives you freedom, not the freedom to do whatever feels easy in the moment, but the freedom to live without being controlled by impulse, laziness, or distraction. Every small action is a step toward that freedom. Over time, your daily small actions will expand naturally. What once felt like a challenge will feel normal, and you will be ready to add new actions or increase their difficulty. This gradual progression is the reason disciplined people often seem capable of so much. They did not start that way. They built it layer by layer. Each small victory gave them the strength to take on a bigger challenge, and each challenge prepared them for the next. The transformation that comes from self-discipline is not always visible at first. You may not notice dramatic results in the early days, but beneath the surface you are training yourself to be stronger, more reliable, and more focused. Weeks and months later, you will look back and see how far you have come, not because of a single moment of willpower, but because of the steady force of small, repeated actions. The truth is that self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Every goal you have, whether it is related to health, career, relationships, or personal growth, depends on your ability to act consistently over time. By starting small, you remove the excuses that often stop you. You no longer have to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. You simply have to show up and do what you said you would do. Building unstoppable self-discipline is a choice you make each day. It is not a dramatic declaration, but a quiet decision to follow through on the small actions that matter. It is the willingness to keep moving forward when no one else is watching, to honor your commitments even when no one else knows about them. Over time, these small actions become the unshakable foundation of your character, and with that foundation, there is very little you cannot achieve. Chapter 3. Push through discomfort to grow stronger every single day. Discomfort is the point where growth begins. It is the space between what feels safe and what challenges your limits. Every time you avoid discomfort, you choose to remain where you are. Every time you face it, you give yourself the opportunity to expand your abilities, your mindset, and your resilience. Strength in any form, mental, physical, or emotional, cannot be developed in comfort. It is built when you step into situations that test you and demand more than you think you have. The human mind is naturally drawn to what is familiar. This is why many people stay in routines that no longer serve them, relationships that hold them back, or habits that keep them stagnant. It feels easier to stay in a space you know than to risk the uncertainty of change. But avoiding discomfort does not protect you, it limits you. Life does not reward you for staying safe. It rewards you for expanding your capacity to handle more. Growth through discomfort is not about seeking pain for its own sake. It is about recognizing that valuable experiences often come with resistance. That resistance might appear as fear before trying something new, frustration when learning a skill, or fatigue when pushing your body in training. These moments are signals, not warnings. They indicate that you are entering the territory where progress is made. Learning to interpret discomfort as a sign of growth instead of danger changes the way you approach challenges. Pushing through discomfort begins with accepting that it will be part of any meaningful journey. Too many people expect progress to feel good all the time. They start strong, but when the effort becomes heavy or the results take longer than expected, they retreat to what is easy. This cycle keeps them from experiencing the real breakthroughs that happen when you keep going despite how you feel. If you want to grow stronger, you must be willing to endure the stages where nothing feels certain and comfort is nowhere in sight. One of the most effective ways to train this mindset is to place yourself in controlled situations where discomfort is present. This could mean speaking in front of a group when you normally stay quiet, increasing your workout intensity beyond your usual level, or taking on a project that stretches your skills. By repeatedly choosing to face manageable challenges, you teach yourself that discomfort is temporary and survivable. Each successful experience reduces your fear of the next one. The physical body offers a clear example of this principle. Muscles grow by being pushed to a point of fatigue, then given time to recover. Without the strain of lifting more than they are accustomed to, they have no reason to adapt. In the same way, your mental and emotional strength develops when you are placed under pressure and still choose to move forward. Without those tests, there is no trigger for improvement. The key is to recognize the difference between productive discomfort and destructive harm. Productive discomfort challenges you in ways that help you expand your abilities. It is the strain you feel when learning a language, the nerves before a difficult conversation, or the mental effort of solving a complex problem. Destructive harm, on the other hand, damages your health, safety, or well-being. Pushing through discomfort does not mean ignoring your limits entirely. it means knowing how to push them without crossing into self-destruction. When you enter uncomfortable territory, your mind will try to convince you to stop. It will offer you logical reasons to quit, distractions that feel urgent, and excuses that seem reasonable. This is your comfort zone trying to pull you back. In these moments, the most powerful skill you can develop is the ability to observe your thoughts without obeying them. Acknowledge the discomfort, accept that it is part of the process, and continue to act in alignment with your goals. One powerful approach is to focus on short-term effort instead of the entire challenge at once. Thinking about completing an entire marathon can overwhelm you, but deciding to simply run to the next marker feels manageable. The same applies to any task. Break it into smaller steps and commit to finishing the one in front of you. Each completed step builds momentum, and momentum reduces the power of discomfort to stop you. Over time, your tolerance for discomfort will increase. What once felt impossible will become manageable, and what was once manageable will feel easy. This is the natural progression of growth. If you continue to seek slightly greater challenges, you will continue to expand your capabilities. The mistake many people make is stopping once things feel comfortable again, which leads to stagnation. The goal is not to reach a point where everything is easy. The goal is to continuously evolve by facing the next level of difficulty. Another important aspect is reframing how you interpret discomfort. Instead of seeing it as something to escape, see it as confirmation that you are doing meaningful work. Discomfort is the signal that you are in the process of becoming stronger. When you can view it as proof of progress rather than a sign of failure, you remove much of its emotional weight. This shift allows you to stay calm and focused even when the situation feels demanding. Surrounding yourself with people who embrace growth can make it easier to push through difficult moments. When you are in an environment where others are challenging themselves, discomfort becomes normal rather than something to avoid. Their example can remind you that the struggle you feel is part of a shared human experience, not a personal weakness. In these environments, support and encouragement replace doubt and hesitation. It is also important to develop self-compassion while facing discomfort. Being hard on yourself when you struggle does not make you stronger. It increases the likelihood that you will give up. Treat yourself with the same patience you would offer a friend who is trying something challenging for the first time. Acknowledge your effort, learn from setbacks, and keep going. Self-compassion keeps you engaged in the process rather than trapped in self-criticism. Daily life offers countless opportunities to practice pushing through discomfort. It might be making a phone call you have been avoiding, sticking with a new habit when the initial excitement has worn off, or continuing to work on a project even when progress is slow. Every time you choose to face these moments instead of avoiding them, you strengthen your ability to handle bigger challenges in the future. There will be moments when you feel like quitting, and these are the exact moments that define your growth. Quitting teaches your mind that escape is an acceptable response to discomfort. Pushing forward teaches it that you are capable of more than you thought. These moments, repeated over time, shape the type of person you become. Pushing through discomfort does not just make you stronger for the moment, it changes your relationship with difficulty for the rest of your life. Once you have faced enough challenges and survived them, fear loses much of its power over you. You begin to trust yourself to handle whatever comes, and that confidence allows you to take on even greater goals. The truth is, strength is not built when everything feels easy. It is built when you keep moving forward while carrying the weight of uncertainty, effort, and struggle. Every day offers you the chance to practice. Every uncomfortable moment is an opportunity to grow. The more often you accept that opportunity, the more unshakable you become. When you make pushing through discomfort a daily habit, you are not just enduring hardship, You are building a life where your potential is never limited by what feels comfortable. Chapter 4. Face your fears to unlock your hidden potential. Fear is a natural part of being human, but it is also one of the most common reasons people hold themselves back from living fully. It shows up in different forms: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of change, fear of uncertainty, and it quietly shapes the choices you make each day. While fear may feel like a wall blocking your path, it is often a doorway to something greater. The very things you avoid are often the experiences that would help you grow the most. Facing your fears is not about eliminating them entirely, but about building the courage to move forward despite them. When fear is in control, it creates limits that don't truly exist. You might convince yourself that you are not ready for a new opportunity, that speaking up will only bring criticism, or that taking a risk is too dangerous. Over time, these limits begin to feel like reality, when in truth they are only barriers built by your own mind. The moment you begin questioning these barriers, you start to weaken their hold. Fear loses much of its strength when you shine a light on it and recognize it for what it is: a protective mechanism that can be useful in danger, but often overreacts when you are simply trying to grow. The first step in facing fear is awareness. You must identify what exactly you are afraid of, instead of letting it remain as a vague feeling. Writing it down helps you see it clearly. When you put your fear into words, it becomes something you can examine and work with rather than an invisible force controlling you. Ask yourself what you believe will happen if you take action. Often you will realize that the worst-case scenario is either unlikely or manageable. This perspective helps you separate real danger from imagined obstacles. Once you have identified your fear, the next step is to take small, deliberate actions toward it. Waiting until you feel ready or fearless will only keep you stuck. Courage is built through action, not through waiting. You might start by exposing yourself to the fear in a low-stakes environment, gradually increasing the difficulty as you grow more comfortable. This process is often uncomfortable, but with each small step, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Over time, the fear that once seemed overwhelming becomes something you can navigate. Facing fear also requires challenging the beliefs that feed it. Many fears are rooted in old experiences, assumptions, or messages you have absorbed from others. Perhaps you once failed at something and decided you were not capable, or maybe you were criticized for expressing yourself and learned to stay quiet. These beliefs may have been formed to protect you, but if they no longer serve you, they must be replaced. You do this by collecting new evidence, by taking action that contradicts your old belief and showing yourself a different outcome is possible. Another powerful approach is to reframe fear as a signal of importance. You do not feel fear when something is meaningless to you. You feel it when something matters. Fear is often a sign that you are standing at the edge of growth, about to enter a place where you could achieve something meaningful. Instead of interpreting the feeling as a warning to stop, see it as confirmation that you are on the right path. This mindset shift can transform fear from a reason to avoid action into a reason to take it. It is also helpful to remember that fear thrives in inaction. The longer you hesitate, the more space you give fear to grow. Your mind will fill that space with doubts, exaggerations, and imagined failures. Action cuts through that noise, even if the first step is small. It disrupts the cycle of overthinking and shows your mind that the situation is manageable. Every time you take action in the presence of fear, you weaken its grip and strengthen your confidence. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage courage can make a significant difference. When you see others facing challenges, taking risks, and overcoming setbacks, it becomes easier to believe you can do the same. Their example serves as proof that fear can be faced and that doing so leads to growth. Conversations with supportive people can also help you process your fears, gain new perspectives, and find strategies you may not have considered. One of the most liberating truths about fear is that it rarely disappears entirely. Even the most accomplished people feel it before doing something important. The difference is that they have learned to act anyway. They have accepted that fear is a companion on the journey, not an enemy to be destroyed. This acceptance frees you from the pressure of trying to feel fearless before moving forward. You can acknowledge the presence of fear, thank it for trying to protect you, and then proceed with your plans. The process of facing fears will not always be smooth. There will be moments when you retreat, hesitate, or avoid a challenge altogether. This is not failure, it is part of the process. What matters is that you return to the path and keep trying. Progress is rarely a straight line, and every attempt, even the ones that do not go as planned, teaches you something valuable about yourself and your abilities. Over time, as you face more fears, something shifts within you. You begin to see yourself differently. You stop defining yourself by your limitations and start defining yourself by your willingness to try. You develop a quiet confidence that does not depend on the absence of fear, but on the knowledge that you can handle whatever comes. This confidence spills into every area of life, your work, your relationships, your personal goals, because once you know you can face fear, other challenges seem far less intimidating. Unlocking your hidden potential is not a single moment of discovery. It is the result of repeatedly proving to yourself that you can do hard things. Every fear you face expands your sense of what is possible. Skills you did not know you had begin to surface. Strength you did not realize was there becomes visible. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach now feel within your grasp because you have built the resilience to go after them. The life you want will not be found in the comfort zone. It will be found in the moments when your heart is racing, your hands are shaking, and your mind is telling you to step back. But you step forward anyway. Each time you do, you break down the walls fear has built around you and open new space for growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Facing your fears is not just about overcoming obstacles, it is about becoming the version of yourself who can handle far more than you once imagined. Chapter 5. Commit to clear goals and track your progress daily. Clarity is the foundation of achievement. Without clearly defined goals, effort is scattered and progress is inconsistent. Committing to clear goals means deciding exactly what you want, why you want it, and how you will measure your advancement. Vague intentions like "I want to get healthier" or "I want to be successful" do not provide enough direction to guide daily action. Clear goals are specific, measurable, and grounded in a purpose that matters to you deeply. They give you a target to aim for and a standard to hold yourself to. When you commit to a goal, you are making a promise to yourself. That commitment requires more than enthusiasm. It demands structure and discipline. A well-formed goal answers key questions. What exactly am I trying to achieve? By when will I achieve it? What steps will I take to make it happen? When these answers are in place, your path forward becomes much easier to navigate. You no longer waste energy guessing what to do next, because your plan is already defined. Tracking progress daily is the other half of the equation. Goals without measurement tend to fade into the background, replaced by distractions and competing priorities. Daily tracking forces you to stay aware of where you stand in relation to your target. It prevents long stretches of unfocused effort by giving you immediate feedback. If you are falling behind, you can adjust your actions before too much time is lost. If you are ahead, the momentum can push you even further. A simple tracking system can be far more effective than a complex one you rarely use. The point is not to spend excessive time creating charts or detailed reports, but to keep a consistent record that you can quickly review. This might be a journal entry at the end of each day, a checklist of completed tasks, or a habit tracking app. What matters is that it is updated regularly and reflects the truth of your progress. Daily tracking also creates a psychological advantage. Every time you record a completed step toward your goal, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of following through. This builds confidence and strengthens your sense of identity as someone who keeps promises. On difficult days, looking back at your record can remind you how far you have come and why it is worth continuing. Breaking larger goals into smaller milestones makes them less overwhelming and easier to track. For example, if your goal is to write a book in 6 months, you can set monthly word count targets, weekly chapter outlines, and daily writing sessions. Each milestone becomes a checkpoint that keeps you on course. By measuring progress against these smaller targets, you can see improvement in real time instead of waiting months for a final result. Accountability can enhance both commitment and tracking. Sharing your goals and updates with someone you trust creates an extra layer of responsibility. You are less likely to skip a step when you know someone else will see whether you followed through. This could be a mentor, a friend with similar goals, or a group that meets regularly to share progress. External accountability often helps you stay consistent during the times when self-motivation is harder to maintain. It is equally important to review and adjust your goals when needed. Committing to clear goals does not mean locking yourself into a plan that no longer serves your best interests. Circumstances can change, and sometimes the path you started on needs refining. The daily tracking process makes it easier to see when something is not working and to make adjustments without abandoning the goal altogether. This flexibility keeps you moving forward while staying aligned with your purpose. Another valuable aspect of daily tracking is identifying patterns. By recording your actions and results over time, you can see what behaviors lead to progress and which ones slow you down. You may notice that certain times of day produce better results, that specific environments boost productivity, or that particular habits consistently lead to setbacks. With this information, you can make strategic changes that multiply your effectiveness. Commitment to a goal also requires protecting it from competing demands. Distractions will constantly try to pull your attention away, especially if your goal requires long-term effort. You must be willing to say no to activities that do not contribute to your objectives. This is easier when your goal is so clear that you can immediately tell whether something supports it or not. Clarity turns decision-making into a simple yes or no choice instead of a draining debate. Celebrating progress, even in small amounts, is an essential part of maintaining commitment. When you recognize and appreciate each step forward, you strengthen the habit of persistence. This does not mean rewarding yourself in ways that undermine the goal, but acknowledging your effort and dedication. The more you value the process, the more likely you are to keep going when challenges arise. Many people underestimate how powerful the combination of commitment and tracking can be. They set goals with good intentions, but fail to create a system for consistent action and measurement. Without commitment, a goal is just a wish. Without tracking, progress is invisible. Together, they create a cycle of action, reflection, and adjustment that keeps you moving steadily toward the outcome you want. The discipline you build by committing to clear goals and tracking them daily extends beyond the specific goal itself. It becomes a skill you can apply to any area of life. Once you have experienced the power of structured focus and consistent measurement, you can approach new challenges with the same method and achieve results more efficiently. Even when progress feels slow, the act of showing up daily keeps the momentum alive. Success is often the result of persistence rather than speed. A clear goal gives you a direction, and daily tracking ensures you never lose sight of it. Some days will bring significant breakthroughs, and others will simply be about keeping the streak alive, but each day builds on the last. Over time, this approach transforms both your results and your mindset. You stop relying on bursts of motivation and start relying on systems that work consistently. You stop drifting from one intention to another and start completing what you set out to do. This consistency shapes you into someone who not only dreams, but delivers. The confidence that comes from seeing measurable progress daily is one of the most powerful forces in personal growth, and it begins with the simple yet profound habit of committing to clear goals and tracking your progress without fail. Chapter 6. Strengthen your mind by challenging your negative thoughts. The way you think determines how you feel and how you act, so strengthening your mind begins with taking control of your thoughts. Negative thinking often happens automatically, and if left unchecked, it shapes your reality in ways that hold you back. Challenging those thoughts is not about pretending everything is perfect, but about questioning whether what you believe in the moment is true, helpful, or worth keeping. When a negative thought appears, pause and examine it instead of accepting it as fact. Ask yourself if there is real evidence to support it, or if it is just an assumption shaped by fear, doubt, or past experiences. Many negative thoughts are exaggerated or distorted. Your mind might tell you that one mistake means you will fail forever, that one rejection means you are unworthy, or that one setback means your dream is impossible. These are mental habits, not objective truths. By confronting them directly, you create space for more balanced and empowering thoughts to take their place. Start by writing down the negative statement exactly as it comes to mind. Then, respond to it as if you were talking to a friend you care about. Offer yourself the same fairness and encouragement you would give someone else. Over time, this habit rewires the way you process challenges. Instead of letting a single problem trigger a spiral of self-doubt, you train yourself to pause, analyze, and respond with intention. This doesn't mean you will never feel discouraged. It means discouragement will no longer control your actions. You begin to act based on reason and purpose, rather than fear or insecurity. Strengthening your mind also involves recognizing the patterns behind your thoughts. Negative thinking often comes from repeated experiences or messages you've absorbed over time. It might be rooted in past failures, harsh criticism, or growing up in an environment where doubt and fear were common. Identifying where these patterns come from allows you to see that they are learned, not permanent. Once you understand they are learned, you can choose to unlearn them and replace them with beliefs that serve your growth. One powerful way to challenge negative thinking is to focus on evidence from your own life that contradicts it. If you think, "I can't handle this," remind yourself of times when you handled something equally or more difficult. If you think, "I always fail," find examples of times when you succeeded or made progress. By collecting proof of your capability, you weaken the power of self-defeating beliefs and build a stronger foundation for confidence. It's also important to shift your focus from what you can't control to what you can. Negative thoughts often thrive on fixating on things outside your influence, such as the opinions of others, unpredictable events, or past mistakes you cannot change. Training yourself to redirect attention to actions you can take in the present moment gives you back a sense of control. This habit turns challenges into problems to solve, instead of walls you cannot climb. Another key step is to reduce the mental fuel that feeds negativity. This may mean limiting exposure to environments, conversations, or content that reinforces pessimistic thinking. Surround yourself with people who encourage growth, not constant complaint. Fill your mind with books, podcasts, and discussions that expand your perspective rather than narrow it. What you regularly consume shapes the way you think, so choose inputs that challenge and uplift you. Self-talk is a major part of mental strength. The way you speak to yourself either builds resilience or weakens it. Notice the words you use in your internal dialogue. Are you harsh, judgmental and critical toward yourself, or are you fair, encouraging and realistic? Replace labels like "I'm a failure" with statements like "I made a mistake, but I can learn from it." This simple shift turns criticism into guidance and keeps your mind focused on growth rather than defeat. Building mental strength through challenging negative thoughts is not a one-time effort, but a continuous practice. The more often you question and replace unhelpful beliefs, the faster you catch them in the future. Over time, you'll notice that negative thoughts lose their intensity and show up less often. You'll start to automatically respond with a more balanced view instead of getting pulled into unproductive mental loops. One practical method to reinforce this is to keep a thought journal. Each day, write down one negative thought you noticed and how you challenged it. This daily habit builds awareness and trains your brain to look for opportunities to shift your thinking. It also gives you a record of your progress, which becomes motivating when you can see how far you've come. Practicing mindfulness is another effective way to strengthen your mind. Mindfulness helps you observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. When you notice a negative thought, instead of reacting emotionally, you acknowledge it, let it pass, and then decide how to respond. This skill reduces the emotional weight of negativity and gives you more freedom to choose constructive actions. Physical habits also play a role in mental resilience. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and adequate rest directly impact your brain's ability to handle stress and think clearly. When your body is energized and well cared for, your mind is better equipped to confront challenges. Even something as simple as taking a walk when you feel overwhelmed can reset your perspective and make it easier to challenge unhelpful thoughts. Gratitude is another powerful counter to negative thinking. By intentionally focusing on what is going well and what you appreciate, you shift your brain's attention away from constant problem-focused thinking. Writing down a few things you are grateful for each day can retrain your mind to notice positives more quickly, making it harder for negativity to dominate your outlook. There will always be moments when negative thoughts try to take over, especially during stress or uncertainty. The difference between a strong mind and a fragile one is not the absence of negativity, but the ability to respond to it with clarity and determination. Each time you challenge a thought that tries to limit you, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than it. This proof builds over time until it becomes part of who you are. Strengthening your mind in this way impacts every part of life. You make better decisions because they are based on facts and values rather than fear. You take on challenges with more courage because you believe in your ability to adapt and overcome. You maintain focus on your long-term goals because temporary doubts no longer have the power to derail you. When you commit to challenging your negative thoughts daily, you begin to experience a level of mental freedom that few people ever reach. You are no longer trapped by assumptions, exaggerated fears, or outdated beliefs. Instead, you think with clarity, act with intention, and live with confidence that you can face whatever comes next. This is the strength that allows you to grow, adapt, and succeed, not by avoiding negativity entirely, but by mastering the way you respond to it. Chapter 7. Choose productive habits that move you closer to success. Every day you make choices about how to spend your time, your energy, and your attention, and those choices determine the direction of your life. Success is rarely the result of one huge, dramatic decision. It is built from a series of consistent, small actions that accumulate over time. Productive habits are the foundation for those actions, and once they are established, they quietly guide your daily behavior without requiring constant willpower. Choosing habits that actively move you toward your goals means setting up a system that works for you even when motivation fades. The first step is to clearly identify which habits will have the greatest impact on your progress. Not all actions carry equal weight. Some deliver far more results than others. You must pinpoint the few core behaviors that directly align with your vision and make them non-negotiable parts of your day. These could be related to your career, health, relationships, or personal growth, but they should always serve as stepping stones towards something specific you want to achieve. Once you know which habits matter most, you can structure your days around them instead of letting them compete with distractions. Establishing productive habits requires conscious repetition until they become automatic. At first, these actions may feel effortful or unnatural, but repetition trains your brain to perform them with less resistance. Think of it like building muscle. At the beginning, every repetition feels heavy, but over time the same movement becomes easier and stronger. Consistency is what transforms an intentional choice into a reflex that no longer demands constant decision-making. Small habits are especially powerful because they are sustainable. It is tempting to try to overhaul your entire life at once, but this often leads to burnout. A more effective approach is to start with actions so manageable that they are impossible to skip. 10 minutes of focused work each morning can evolve into hours of deep productivity. A short daily review of your goals can turn into a habit of constant progress tracking. These small beginnings grow over time, and their cumulative effect can be extraordinary. Removing friction is another essential part of building productive habits. If something is difficult to start, you are less likely to do it consistently. Arrange your environment so that taking the right action is easy, and taking the wrong action is inconvenient. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to read more, keep a book within reach instead of buried in a drawer. By making the productive choice the path of least resistance, you increase your chances of following through. It is equally important to break habits that pull you away from your goals. Every unproductive behavior has a trigger, something that prompts it. Identify these triggers and replace them with alternatives that support your growth. If scrolling on your phone in the evening keeps you from working on a personal project, replace that trigger with a different ritual, like making tea and sitting at your desk. You cannot simply remove a habit and leave the space empty. It must be replaced with a better one that satisfies the same underlying need in a more constructive way. The power of productive habits lies in their compounding effect. One day of action may not seem significant, but when repeated over weeks, months, and years, the results are dramatic. Each time you follow through on a habit, you reinforce your identity as someone who is disciplined, focused, and committed. Over time, this self-image makes it easier to maintain momentum because your actions feel like a natural expression of who you are. Tracking your habits is a valuable way to stay accountable. A simple check mark on a calendar or a progress tracker on your phone can give you a visual reminder of your consistency. When you see the chain of completed days growing longer, you become motivated not to break it. This visual proof of your effort keeps you engaged, especially during periods when progress feels slow or invisible. However, building productive habits is not just about discipline, it is also about intention. You can be incredibly consistent in doing the wrong things and still remain stuck. That is why you must regularly evaluate whether your habits are still aligned with your long-term vision. Life changes. Goals evolve, and what was once the most productive use of your time may no longer serve you. Being willing to adapt and refine your habits ensures that your daily actions continue to push you towards success rather than keeping you busy without meaningful progress. Momentum plays a huge role in habit formation. The more you repeat a productive action, the easier it becomes to maintain it. Even when you have a bad day, doing the smallest possible version of the habit keeps the momentum alive. If you are too busy for a full workout, do 5 minutes of stretching. If you are too tired to write a full page, write a single paragraph. These small actions prevent you from losing your rhythm, making it easier to return to full effort the next day. Another key factor is stacking habits together. By linking a new productive habit to an existing one, you create a natural reminder. If you already have a habit of making coffee in the morning, you can use that moment to review your priorities for the day. If you already listen to music on your commute, you can use that time to listen to an educational podcast. Habit stacking makes it easier to integrate new actions into your life without having to create entirely new routines from scratch. Your mindset also shapes the success of your habits. If you see them as a burden or a set of rigid rules, you are more likely to resist them. Instead, view them as investments in your future self, choices that make your life easier, richer, and more fulfilling over time. This perspective turns habits into a source of pride rather than a chore, making it more likely you will stick with them through challenges. One of the most overlooked elements in choosing productive habits is energy management. Even the best habit will be difficult to sustain if it requires you to push through constant exhaustion. Align your most demanding habits with the times of day when your energy is highest. If you are sharpest in the morning, tackle your most important work, then save lower energy activities for times when your focus naturally dips. By working with your body's natural rhythms, you make it easier to sustain consistent effort without relying solely on willpower. The people you surround yourself with also influence your habits. Being around individuals who share your values and commitment to growth makes productive actions feel normal rather than exceptional. On the other hand, spending too much time with people who normalize procrastination, negativity, or aimless behavior can subtly pull you off course. Seek out environments, both physical and social, that make your desired habits feel natural and encouraged. Over time, your productive habits become the invisible architecture of your life. They guide your actions without requiring constant decision-making, freeing up mental energy for creativity and problem-solving. They give you stability during uncertain times, because even when external circumstances are chaotic, your habits keep you moving forward. And they build a sense of quiet confidence, because you know you are doing the daily work that leads to success, even when the results have not yet appeared. Ultimately, the key is to choose habits that are both impactful and realistic. Then commit to them with unwavering consistency. They may start small, but their effect will grow far beyond what you can see in the moment. When you build your days around actions that move you closer to your goals, you transform your life, not in a sudden burst of change, but through steady, deliberate steps that compound into extraordinary results. Chapter 8. Act immediately on ideas before doubt takes over. Ideas often arrive in an instant, quietly, unexpectedly, and with a spark of excitement that makes your heart beat faster. In that moment, the possibility feels alive, almost tangible, as if you could reach out and touch the future it promises. But that spark is fragile. If you pause too long, if you give yourself too much time to overanalyze, hesitation begins to creep in. Doubt whispers about the risks, the flaws, the reasons it might not work. Before you know it, the energy that felt unstoppable just moments ago begins to fade, and the idea joins the long list of things you thought about but never acted upon. Acting immediately is about protecting that initial surge of energy before it's diluted by overthinking. It doesn't mean leaping blindly without consideration. It means taking the first step while the inspiration is still fresh, so the momentum carries you forward. The longer you wait, the more room you give fear to build its case against action. Your mind starts listing all the reasons it's safer to stay still, and the clarity that existed in the moment of inspiration becomes clouded by hesitation. When you take action right away, you bypass the endless loop of what-if questions. Instead of asking whether an idea will work, you begin testing it in the real world. Reality gives you answers far quicker than speculation ever will. Even small steps, making a call, writing a note, creating a rough version, lock your idea into motion and make it harder to abandon. The simple act of doing transforms an abstract thought into something tangible that you can shape, refine, or redirect as needed. Many people wait for perfect conditions before starting, but those conditions almost never arrive. Waiting for certainty often becomes an excuse for avoidance. You tell yourself you're preparing, but preparation without action eventually turns into procrastination dressed up as productivity. The truth is, you can adjust as you go. Taking imperfect action now will teach you far more than waiting indefinitely for the ideal plan. Acting on ideas immediately also builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on your impulses to create, explore, or pursue something, you prove to yourself that you are someone who acts rather than hesitates. This self-trust becomes a powerful force because it frees you from needing constant reassurance. You know from experience that even if the outcome isn't perfect, you can adapt and learn from the process. It's important to understand that the first step doesn't have to be massive, it just has to be real. If you think of a product to launch, you don't need to have it fully built by tomorrow, but you could sketch the design, research suppliers, or register a domain name before the excitement fades. If you have an idea for a book, you might not write the full chapter immediately, but you can jot down the key points while they're still vivid in your mind. The sooner you capture the energy of your idea, the harder it becomes for doubt to erase it. Momentum thrives on immediacy. The quicker you move from thought to action, the less room there is for hesitation. This is why some of the most successful people train themselves to make decisions quickly, not recklessly, but without the paralysis of endless deliberation. They understand that most opportunities are fleeting and that the cost of inaction often outweighs the cost of making a less than perfect move. Acting quickly on ideas also sparks creativity in ways waiting cannot. Once you start working, new connections appear, new opportunities emerge, and unforeseen solutions present themselves. What begins as a rough, unpolished attempt can evolve into something brilliant through iteration, but none of that happens until you start. The first draft of anything is rarely flawless, yet it's the only bridge to a refined version. Doubt thrives in silence and stillness. When you keep an idea locked in your head, it becomes a target for every insecurity and fear you've ever had. You start imagining failure before you've even begun. But once you take action, you change the conversation. Instead of asking, "Will this work?" you're asking, "What can I do next to make this better?" That shift in focus replaces anxiety with curiosity, and curiosity keeps you moving forward. One of the most practical strategies for acting quickly is to set a personal rule. If an idea excites you, take one concrete step toward it within the next 24 hours. That step can be tiny, but it must be measurable. This prevents you from leaving ideas in the realm of someday and forces you to bring them into the present. The moment you give an idea a physical form, you've already won half the battle against hesitation. You may worry about wasting time on ideas that don't pan out, but here's the truth. Most ideas won't be perfect, and that's fine. The value isn't just in the outcome. It's in training yourself to act without delay. Every quick decision sharpens your instincts and improves your ability to recognize which ideas have potential, and even when an idea fails, it often leads to another one you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. Speed also sends a signal to others. People notice when you move fast on opportunities, and it often attracts collaboration and support. Those around you see that you're serious, decisive, and willing to take risks. Opportunities tend to flow toward those who act because they are seen as doers rather than dreamers. By moving quickly, you position yourself as someone others want to work with and invest in. Another benefit of acting immediately is that it reduces the fear of failure. When you wait too long, the pressure builds. The idea grows in your head until it feels like it must be perfect before it sees the light of day. By acting right away, you keep the stakes lower. You're simply experimenting, testing, exploring, not unveiling a flawless masterpiece. This mindset makes it easier to try again if things don't go as planned. Of course, acting quickly doesn't mean acting without thought. It's about finding the balance between instinct and intention. You don't have to launch an entire business overnight, but you should seize the moment when your enthusiasm is highest. That emotional energy can carry you through the initial challenges far more effectively than a perfectly crafted plan that never gets executed. The truth is, hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever will. Ideas don't disappear because they were bad. They disappear because they weren't acted upon. If you want to live a life where your best thoughts have a chance to grow, you have to move when inspiration strikes. Even if the path ahead isn't fully clear, you can always refine as you go, but you can't refine something that doesn't exist. If you make immediacy a habit, you'll find that you no longer struggle with overthinking as much. The muscle of decisive action gets stronger, and acting on ideas becomes second nature. You stop waiting for permission for the perfect moment or for absolute certainty. Instead, you trust that forward motion, however small, is better than standing still. The world changes quickly, and opportunities don't wait for you to be ready. Acting immediately isn't just a productivity hack, it's a survival skill in a world where speed often determines who succeeds. Those who act in the moment create momentum that others can't match because they're already moving while others are still debating. In the end, the difference between a life filled with fulfilled ideas and one filled with regrets often comes down to seconds, the seconds between having a thought and taking the first step. Let those seconds be short. Protect your ideas from the slow death of doubt. Move while the spark is fresh, and let the act of doing carry you past the fears that would otherwise hold you back. Chapter 9. Stay consistent even when motivation feels completely gone. There will come a time when the excitement that once fueled your actions will fade. The energy you felt at the beginning, the rush that made you eager to start, will seem distant. You might wake up one morning and feel like doing nothing, wondering if the effort is even worth it anymore. This is the moment that separates those who achieve their goals from those who drift away. The people who keep moving forward, even in the absence of motivation, understand that consistency is not built on feelings, it's built on commitment. Motivation is fleeting by nature. It rises and falls depending on your mood, your environment, and even the weather outside. If you rely on it to keep going, you will only work when you feel like it, and that will never be enough to reach something significant. What sustains progress in the long run is the discipline to act regardless of how inspired you feel. This means showing up on the days when your energy is low, when progress feels slow, and when you're tempted to take the easy route of doing nothing. Staying consistent without motivation starts with shifting your mindset from emotion to identity. Instead of asking yourself whether you feel like doing the work, remind yourself that this is simply what you do. It becomes part of who you are. A writer writes, even on days when the words come slowly. An athlete trains. Even when the body feels heavy, a leader makes decisions, even when the path isn't clear. When the behavior is tied to your identity, skipping it feels unnatural, and following through becomes a matter of integrity. Another way to keep going is to shrink your focus to the smallest possible action you can take. When the weight of an entire task feels overwhelming, telling yourself you only have to start makes it more manageable. You may not feel like running 5 miles, but you can put on your shoes. You may not want to clean the whole house, but you can wash one dish. Often, the act of starting is enough to break the resistance, and before you know it, you've done more than you expected. Consistency also requires creating systems that make action automatic. If you have to rely on willpower each time, you're more likely to quit when you're tired or distracted. But when you set up routines, habits, and environments that support your goals, you remove the need for constant decision-making. If your workout clothes are laid out the night before, there's no debate about whether to exercise in the morning. If you schedule your deep work hours at the same time each day, it becomes a non-negotiable part of your life. On the days when your motivation is gone, it's important to remember your deeper why. Surface-level goals like earning more money or looking better can lose their pull when life feels heavy. But if you connect your actions to something more meaningful, a sense of purpose, a vision for your future, a responsibility to those you care about, it becomes harder to walk away. Remind yourself that each small effort contributes to something bigger, even if you can't see immediate results. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, and that can be frustrating. You put in the effort, but nothing seems to change. This is where many people stop, believing their work isn't making a difference. But the truth is, growth often happens silently. The results may not be visible yet, but every consistent action is planting seeds that will eventually break the surface. Trust that the work you're doing now will pay off later, even if today feels stagnant. It's also worth recognizing that low motivation doesn't mean you're failing. It's a natural part of any long-term effort. There will be highs and lows, bursts of inspiration and stretches of monotony. Expecting constant excitement is unrealistic. Instead, anticipate that there will be days when your only victory is showing up and doing the bare minimum, and that's still a win. Those days matter more than the easy ones, because they prove to yourself that you're capable of moving forward without ideal conditions. To sustain consistency, you need to learn how to manage your energy rather than force your way through burnout. This means getting enough rest, fueling your body well, and taking breaks when necessary. Pushing endlessly without recovery will eventually drain you to the point of quitting altogether. It's not about doing the maximum every day. It's about doing enough every day to keep momentum alive without collapsing from exhaustion. Sometimes accountability can be the bridge that carries you through low motivation periods. When someone else knows about your goals and expects progress, it's harder to back out. This could be a friend, a mentor, a coach, or even a community of people pursuing similar ambitions. The external pressure may be uncomfortable at times, but it keeps you from hiding in the comfort of inaction. When motivation is absent, you also need to adjust your expectations. Perfection is not the goal. Continuity is. It's better to complete a small version of your task consistently than to do a perfect version sporadically. A single paragraph written every day will eventually create a book, while bursts of inspiration followed by long gaps will leave you with nothing. Lower the barrier to action so that doing something becomes easier than doing nothing. It's natural to want visible proof that your effort matters, but consistency often works like compound interest. Results build slowly at first, then accelerate over time. The early days can feel thankless because the payoff is hidden, but that's when persistence counts the most. By the time the results become obvious, most people who started alongside you will have quit. The only reason you'll be ahead is because you kept going when they didn't. Remind yourself that consistency creates trust, not only with others, but with yourself. Each time you follow through on your commitment, despite low motivation, you strengthen your self-respect. You no longer see yourself as someone who quits when it's hard. You see yourself as someone who honors their word. That shift in self-image is one of the most valuable outcomes of staying consistent, and it carries into every other area of life. Even when you're exhausted, uninspired, or frustrated, completing your daily action sends a signal to your brain that this goal matters. The repetition wires it into your routine until it becomes second nature. What once required effort and willpower becomes a normal part of your day, as automatic as brushing your teeth. At that point, whether you feel motivated or not hardly matters. You just do it because it's part of you. Over time, you'll realize that motivation is useful, but optional. It's a nice boost when it's present, but it's not a requirement for progress. The real driver is persistence, the decision to keep showing up regardless of mood, and the more you practice it, the less power temporary feelings have over your actions. When you learn to work without motivation, you gain an advantage most people don't have. While others wait for the perfect mood, you're moving forward in the quiet, unglamorous moments. You build a foundation that can withstand the storms of doubt, fatigue, and distraction, and when your motivation inevitably returns, it will find you already in motion, ready to use it as extra fuel rather than a crutch. Consistency in the absence of motivation is a quiet kind of strength. It's not flashy, and it rarely feels exciting in the moment. But over weeks, months, and years, it becomes the reason you achieve things that once felt impossible. You keep laying one brick at a time, and eventually, you look up to see that you've built something solid and lasting. That's the reward, not just the outcome, but the unshakable confidence that you can keep going, no matter how you feel. Chapter 10. Learn from every failure and turn it into growth. Failure is often seen as the end of the road, a sign that something has gone wrong and that efforts have been wasted. Yet, failure is not a final destination. It is a powerful teacher that offers valuable lessons when approached with the right mindset. Every failure carries within it the potential for growth and transformation, but only if you choose to look beyond the disappointment and extract what can be learned. The way you respond to failure determines whether it becomes a stumbling block or a stepping stone towards success. The first step in learning from failure is to accept it without resistance. Denial or avoidance only prolongs pain and delays progress. When something doesn't go as planned, acknowledge the outcome honestly and without judgment. This does not mean you celebrate failure, but you refuse to let it define your worth or your future. Accepting failure calmly opens the door to understanding what happened and what needs to change. Analyzing failure with curiosity rather than blame is essential. Instead of asking, "Who is at fault?" or "Why am I unlucky?" ask questions like, "What can this teach me?" and "What different approach can I try next time?" This mindset shifts the focus from frustration to problem solving. It helps you identify specific factors that contributed to the failure, whether they are related to planning, execution, timing, or external conditions. It's important to separate your identity from your failures. Failing at a task or goal does not mean you are a failure as a person. This distinction protects your self-esteem and keeps you motivated to try again. When you recognize that failure is simply a part of the process rather than a reflection of your value, you free yourself to take risks and innovate. Growth comes from using failure as feedback. Each time you fall short, you gain new information that was not available before. This feedback allows you to refine your strategy, adjust your actions, and improve your skills. In this way, failure accelerates learning because it highlights what doesn't work and encourages you to explore alternative paths. One of the most valuable lessons failure teaches is resilience, the ability to recover from setbacks. To stand up after being knocked down is a skill that cannot be learned from success alone. Each failure strengthens your capacity to endure difficulty and to maintain faith in your vision despite obstacles. This resilience builds the mental toughness necessary to pursue long-term goals that require persistence beyond immediate results. Failure also helps develop humility and self-awareness. It reveals gaps in knowledge, weaknesses in execution, and areas for personal growth. When approached honestly, these revelations guide you toward becoming a more skilled, adaptable, and effective individual. Humility born from failure prevents arrogance and encourages openness to learning from others. It's natural to feel disappointment, frustration, or even shame after failure. These emotions are part of the process, but must be managed so they don't overwhelm you. Allow yourself to feel, but avoid dwelling on negativity. Instead, channel that emotional energy into constructive action. Use the discomfort as a signal that change is needed and as motivation to improve. Taking responsibility for failure is a critical part of growth. Owning your role in what went wrong empowers you to make changes. Blaming external factors or other people removes your control and keeps you stuck. When you accept responsibility, you regain your power to influence future outcomes through different choices and behaviors. It's helpful to develop a habit of reflecting on failures regularly. Set aside time to review what happened, what you learned, and what you will do differently. Writing these reflections down creates a record of your growth journey and helps solidify lessons. Over time, you will notice patterns and improvements that might otherwise go unnoticed. Persistence is the bridge between failure and success. Many successful people have failed multiple times before reaching their goals. What sets them apart is their refusal to give up. They treat each failure as one chapter in a larger story rather than the final verdict. This perspective keeps them moving forward, knowing that every setback is temporary and part of the process. Learning from failure also means being willing to experiment and take risks. If you are afraid of failing, you might avoid trying new things or stepping outside your comfort zone. But growth requires challenge and uncertainty. When you embrace the possibility of failure as a natural part of exploration, you open yourself up to new opportunities and discoveries. Sometimes, failure provides clarity by showing you what does not align with your true goals or values. When an attempt ends unsuccessfully, it may be a sign to reassess your direction. Instead of pushing harder in a path that isn't right, failure can be a guide that redirects you toward something better suited for your strengths and passions. Failure also teaches patience. Results often take time, and immediate success is rare. Recognizing that failure is part of the process encourages you to slow down, stay consistent, and trust the journey. Patience prevents discouragement and keeps you committed even when progress feels slow. Support from others can help you navigate failure more effectively. Sharing your experiences with trusted friends, mentors, or communities provides perspective, encouragement, and advice. You don't have to face setbacks alone, and external input can offer solutions or insights you might not see yourself. Transforming failure into growth requires action. It's not enough to simply understand what went wrong. You must apply those lessons moving forward. Adjust your plans, refine your skills, and try again with renewed determination. Each new attempt is an opportunity to improve and move closer to your goals. Failure often leads to creativity. When traditional approaches don't work, you are forced to think differently and innovate. This creative problem solving can result in breakthroughs that would not have been possible without the challenge of failure. Cultivating gratitude for failure may sound strange, but it's a powerful practice. Being thankful for the lessons learned and the growth gained changes your relationship with setbacks. Instead of fearing failure, you see it as a valuable experience that shapes your character and sharpens your skills. Remember that failure is universal. Everyone who has achieved anything meaningful has faced failure along the way. Knowing you are not alone in your struggles can reduce shame and build solidarity with others on a similar path. Ultimately, learning from failure is a mindset choice. It requires courage to face discomfort, honesty to evaluate your role, and determination to keep going. When you commit to this mindset, failure becomes a powerful ally rather than an enemy. It transforms from something to avoid into something to embrace as an essential part of growth and success. By welcoming failure as a teacher, you gain insight, resilience, and wisdom that accelerate your journey. The next time you encounter a setback, remember that every failure contains the seeds of your next success. Your willingness to learn and adapt will turn obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones on the path to your highest potential. Chapter 11. Focus fully on one task until it is done. Focusing fully on one task until completion is one of the most powerful skills you can develop to boost productivity and achieve meaningful results. In a world filled with endless distractions and demands pulling your attention in every direction, the ability to concentrate deeply on a single activity is rare and incredibly valuable. When you dedicate your full mental energy to one task, you not only complete it faster but also do it with higher quality. This practice turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes and builds momentum that carries you forward. The key to effective focus begins with clear intention. Before starting, decide exactly what you want to accomplish and why it matters. When the purpose behind a task is clear, it fuels your attention and motivation. Vague or unfocused goals leave the mind wandering, making it harder to resist interruptions. Defining your desired outcome anchors your focus and sets a specific target for your effort. Limiting distractions is essential to maintaining full focus. Every notification, noise, or unrelated thought competes for your attention and fragments your concentration. Create an environment that supports uninterrupted work. This could mean turning off your phone, closing unnecessary tabs, or finding a quiet space. By minimizing external disturbances, you free your mind to engage completely with the task at hand. Time blocking is a practical tool to help you focus fully. Set aside a specific chunk of time dedicated solely to one task. During this period, commit to working without multitasking or interruptions. Knowing you have a limited window encourages deep immersion and discourages procrastination. This disciplined approach helps train your brain to settle into a focused state more easily over time. Starting a task can often feel daunting, especially if it is large or complex. Breaking it down into smaller, manageable steps makes it easier to maintain focus. Each step becomes a mini goal, allowing you to concentrate on completing one piece before moving on to the next. This approach reduces overwhelm and keeps your mind engaged with clear, achievable objectives. A strong focus is also supported by being fully present in the moment. Avoid letting your thoughts drift to past mistakes or future worries. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the current task. Practicing mindfulness techniques such as deep breathing or brief meditation can strengthen your ability to stay present and attentive. The habit of finishing what you start builds confidence and reduces mental clutter. Every unfinished task occupies space in your mind and drains your energy. Completing a task provides a sense of accomplishment and clears the way for your next focus. Over time, finishing what you begin becomes a source of pride that motivates continued effort. Consistency is critical. The more regularly you practice focused work, the easier it becomes to enter that state. Just as physical exercise strengthens muscles, mental focus grows stronger with repeated use. Avoid the temptation to switch between tasks frequently, as this trains your brain to be easily distracted. Instead, build the discipline to sustain attention for longer periods. Setting boundaries helps protect your focus. Communicate to others when you need uninterrupted time and create signals, like closing your office door or using headphones, that discourage interruptions. Respecting these boundaries yourself reinforces your commitment to focused work. Your energy level significantly affects your ability to focus. Identify times of day when you feel most alert and schedule your most important tasks during those periods. Avoid tackling demanding work when you are tired or mentally drained. Aligning your tasks with your natural rhythms improves both focus and performance. Breaks are necessary to maintain sustained attention. Working for long stretches without rest leads to diminishing returns and mental fatigue. Incorporate short, regular breaks to recharge your mind. Use these moments to stretch, breathe, or briefly step away from your workspace. When you return, you'll find it easier to refocus with renewed clarity. The quality of your focus influences the quality of your results. When you divide your attention, mistakes are more likely and creativity suffers. Deep focus enables you to notice details, solve problems more effectively, and produce work you can be proud of. It transforms routine tasks into opportunities for mastery. Developing rituals around focused work can signal to your brain that it's time to concentrate. This might include organizing your desk, writing a short intention statement, or playing specific background music. These cues create a mental association that helps you enter a focused state more quickly. Avoid the trap of multitasking. Juggling several tasks at once splits your attention and reduces overall efficiency. The brain is not designed to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. Instead, complete one task fully before moving on. This practice conserves mental energy and leads to better outcomes. When distractions arise, practice gentle redirection. It's natural for your mind to stray occasionally. Notice the distraction without judgment, then consciously guide your attention back to the task. This ongoing self-awareness strengthens your ability to maintain focus over time. Keeping a clear workspace also supports focus. Clutter and disorganization can distract the mind and make it harder to concentrate. Regularly tidy your area to create a calm and inviting environment conducive to deep work. A clean space signals readiness and respect for the task. Tracking your progress as you focus can boost motivation. Checking off completed steps or noting milestones reached gives a sense of forward movement. Visible progress reduces overwhelm and reinforces the habit of finishing what you start. Focus isn't about perfection, it's about giving your full attention to the present task until it's done. Allow yourself to work without judgment or pressure for flawless results. The act of completing the task matters more than doing it perfectly. This mindset encourages sustained effort and reduces procrastination. Sometimes you may need to extend focus beyond a single session. In those cases, plan clear stopping and starting points. Document where you left off, so returning to the task is easier and doesn't require reorientation. This planning preserves momentum across multiple work periods. Developing focus takes patience and practice. Don't expect to be perfectly attentive from the start. Each effort to concentrate strengthens your mental muscles. Over time, your ability to sustain attention improves, and distractions lose their power to derail you. Ultimately, focusing fully on one task until it is done creates a sense of accomplishment and progress that fuels continued growth. It is a discipline that honors your time and effort, turning intention into action and action into results. By mastering this skill, you gain control over your productivity and move steadily toward your goals. Chapter 12. Surround yourself with people who push you higher. The people you choose to surround yourself with shape your mindset, habits, and ultimately your future. Their attitudes, values, and energy influence how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. If you want to grow, improve, and push beyond your current limits, it is essential to be around those who challenge you to rise higher rather than settle for less. The company you keep can either lift you up or hold you back, so selecting the right people is a critical decision that impacts every area of your life. People who push you higher don't simply offer empty praise or enable complacency. They hold you accountable to your goals, challenge your excuses, and inspire you to reach beyond comfort. These individuals provide honest feedback, ask tough questions, and encourage you to stretch your capabilities. Their presence makes you uncomfortable in a productive way, forcing you to examine your weaknesses and work harder to overcome them. The influence of such people extends beyond words. Their habits, mindset, and work ethic become a model you can learn from. When you spend time with high achievers or those committed to growth, you begin to absorb their discipline and focus. Their success stories remind you that progress is possible and that setbacks are part of the journey, not reasons to quit. This contagious optimism combined with practical examples propels you forward. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also provides emotional support during challenging times. Growth often requires facing obstacles and discomfort, which can feel isolating if you are alone. A supportive network offers encouragement, motivation, and perspective when you doubt yourself. Knowing others believe in your potential strengthens your resolve and reduces feelings of discouragement. It's important to evaluate the impact people have on your energy. Some relationships drain your enthusiasm, fill your mind with negativity, or keep you stuck in old patterns. These connections limit your growth and can undermine your confidence. Being mindful about who you spend your time with allows you to distance yourself from toxic influences and focus on nurturing relationships that fuel your ambition. Choosing people who push you higher doesn't mean surrounding yourself only with those who are far ahead of you. While mentors and role models are invaluable, peers who share your values and drive also matter greatly. These companions provide camaraderie, shared learning, and mutual encouragement. Together you can navigate challenges, celebrate wins, and hold each other accountable. The quality of your relationships is more important than quantity. It's better to have a few genuine connections that challenge and inspire you than many superficial ones. Deep conversations about goals, struggles, and strategies foster growth and build trust. When you feel safe being honest and vulnerable, you open doors to real progress rather than surface-level interactions. Building such a network takes intentionality. It involves seeking out communities, groups, or events where driven individuals gather, whether it's professional organizations, workshops, or informal meetups. Immersing yourself in environments that value growth increases your chances of meeting people who push you higher. Sometimes this means stepping outside your comfort zone and approaching strangers with openness and curiosity. Active engagement is necessary to benefit fully from these relationships. Listening, learning, and offering support in return create a dynamic exchange that nurtures growth. When you contribute value to others, you strengthen bonds and create a culture of mutual advancement. Growth is not a solo journey, it thrives in connection and collaboration. It's also crucial to be honest with yourself about how you respond to feedback and challenges. Some people push you because they care, and want to see you improve, but their honesty might sting initially. Developing the humility and openness to receive criticism without defensiveness allows you to learn and grow faster. Remember that constructive criticism is a gift, not an attack. Be aware of the danger of complacency within your social circle. If everyone around you settles for mediocrity, it becomes harder to break free and pursue excellence. Surrounding yourself with ambitious individuals sets a higher baseline for what you expect from yourself and others. This environment nurtures continuous improvement and refuses to accept stagnation. At times, pushing yourself higher means letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth. This can be difficult, especially if those connections are long-standing, but recognizing when a relationship limits your potential is an act of self-respect and maturity. Choosing growth over comfort sends a powerful message to yourself and others about your priorities. Celebrating the successes of those who push you higher strengthens your own motivation. Their achievements prove what is possible and inspire you to keep working toward your own goals. Healthy admiration creates a positive cycle where success fuels further ambition rather than jealousy or competition. Learning from those who have faced similar struggles is invaluable. Their stories provide practical lessons and remind you that setbacks are normal. Knowing you are not alone in your challenges fosters resilience and persistence. These shared experiences deepen your connection and provide a roadmap for overcoming obstacles. Remember that influence works both ways. As you grow, you will also become someone who pushes others higher. This responsibility adds meaning to your progress and creates a ripple effect that extends beyond your personal success. Encouraging growth in others reinforces your own commitment and strengthens your network. Regularly assess your social environment and ask whether the people around you inspire you to be better, challenge your limits, and support your goals. If the answer is no, take steps to seek new connections and nurture those that do. Growth requires conscious effort, including in the relationships you choose to invest in. Surrounding yourself with people who push you higher is not about competition or comparison. It is about collective growth, shared wisdom, and mutual encouragement. It creates a culture where excellence is expected, effort is celebrated, and setbacks are seen as opportunities. This environment fuels your passion and sharpens your skills. The energy you absorb from your social circle shapes your daily habits, mindset, and decisions. By surrounding yourself with driven, supportive, and honest individuals, you create a fertile ground for your own growth. Their presence challenges you to expand your limits, deepen your commitment, and realize your full potential. In the end, choosing who you surround yourself with is a powerful form of self-care and strategy. It determines the level of challenge you face, the support you receive, and the vision you hold for your future. To push yourself higher, you must first be willing to raise your standards for the company you keep. This decision sets the stage for lasting transformation and achievement. Chapter 13. Use your time wisely and cut every distraction. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and how you use it determines the quality and trajectory of your life. Every moment wasted on distractions is a moment lost forever and cannot be regained. Learning to use your time wisely means making conscious choices about where your attention goes and eliminating anything that pulls you away from your highest priorities. This is not about doing more tasks, but about focusing on what truly matters and giving your full energy to those activities. Distractions come in many forms: social media notifications, emails, casual conversations, background noise, even your own wandering thoughts. Each interruption breaks your concentration, drains your mental energy, and adds friction to your progress. The brain takes time to refocus after a distraction, which reduces overall productivity far beyond the actual time spent diverted. Understanding the cost of distractions motivates you to take deliberate steps to cut them out. Start by identifying your biggest time wasters. Keep a log of how you spend your day, noting every moment you drift into activities that do not support your goals. This awareness shines a light on habits you might have overlooked or underestimated. Once you know where your time leaks are, you can take targeted action to plug them. Creating boundaries is a powerful way to protect your time. This could mean setting specific hours to check email or social media instead of constantly reacting to notifications. Turning off alerts on your phone or computer removes constant interruptions that fragment your attention. Informing others when you need uninterrupted focus signals respect for your time and helps reduce unexpected disturbances. Organizing your environment to minimize distractions is equally important. A cluttered workspace invites mental chaos and invites procrastination. Arrange your area to support your workflow, keeping only necessary items in sight. Use noise-cancelling headphones or play background sounds that aid concentration if you are in a noisy setting. Prioritizing your tasks before starting your day ensures you allocate your time wisely. Focus on activities that align with your goals and bring the most significant results. Avoid falling into the trap of busyness, doing many small, unimportant tasks at the expense of meaningful progress. Use methods like the Eisenhower matrix to distinguish urgent from important and tackle what matters most first. Time blocking is a practical technique to structure your day around focused work sessions. Dedicate specific periods to high-value tasks and protect those blocks fiercely. This prevents multitasking and builds momentum. Knowing that you have planned time for breaks and less demanding work reduces anxiety and helps maintain balance. Learning to say no is a critical skill for time management. Many distractions come in the form of requests or opportunities that do not align with your priorities. Politely declining these distractions frees up space for your most important commitments. Saying no also means saying yes to your goals and respecting your own limits. Practicing single tasking instead of multitasking boosts efficiency. While multitasking feels productive, it often reduces quality and increases mistakes. Focusing on one task at a time allows you to complete it faster and with better results. This focused attention is the foundation of effective time use. Breaking larger projects into smaller steps creates clear action points that keep you moving forward without feeling overwhelmed. This approach helps you avoid procrastination, which often arises from unclear or daunting tasks. Celebrate completing each step to maintain motivation and momentum. Use technology wisely to support your time management, not sabotage it. There are many apps designed to block distracting websites or limit screen time. Automate routine tasks when possible to free mental space. However, avoid over-reliance on technology, which can itself become a distraction if not managed. Regularly reviewing how you spend your time helps maintain awareness and course-correct when needed. At the end of each day or week, reflect on what worked and what didn't. Adjust your strategies accordingly to improve efficiency and focus. This habit keeps your time use aligned with your evolving goals. Rest and recharge are vital components of wise time use. Pushing non-stop, without breaks, leads to burnout and diminished productivity. Schedule downtime to refresh your mind and body. When you return to work, you will be sharper, more creative, and better able to sustain focus. Mental discipline plays a crucial role in resisting distractions. Train yourself to notice when your attention drifts and gently bring it back to the task. Over time, this practice strengthens your concentration and reduces the power of interruptions. Mindfulness exercises and meditation can support this mental training. Time management is deeply connected to valuing yourself and your goals. When you commit to using your time wisely, you send a message that your dreams are worth the effort. This commitment fuels motivation and encourages habits that support consistent progress. Avoiding procrastination is part of using time wisely. Recognize when you are delaying important tasks and understand the underlying reasons: fear, uncertainty, or lack of motivation. Address these barriers directly, rather than allowing avoidance to consume your day. Taking even small steps breaks inertia and builds momentum. Use deadlines to create urgency and focus. Self-imposed or external deadlines provide structure and encourage decisive action. They prevent tasks from stretching endlessly and help you maintain a steady pace toward your goals. Cultivate an attitude of intentionality toward every minute. Instead of letting time slip away passively, decide in advance how you want to use it. This mindset transforms your day from reactive to proactive, giving you control over your outcomes. Recognize that cutting distractions is not about perfection, but progress. You will encounter interruptions and moments of low focus. The goal is to minimize their impact and recover quickly. Every effort to reduce distractions compounds over time, leading to greater clarity and accomplishment. By using your time wisely and cutting distractions, you build the foundation for consistent growth. Your efforts become more focused, your results more meaningful, and your journey toward your goals more efficient. This discipline honors the preciousness of time and empowers you to create the life you desire. Chapter 14. Take responsibility for your choices and your life. Taking full responsibility for your choices and your life is one of the most empowering decisions you can make. It means accepting that your current situation, your successes, and your struggles are largely the results of your own actions and decisions. This mindset shifts power back into your hands and removes the tendency to blame external circumstances or other people for where you find yourself. Responsibility is not about harsh self-judgment, rather it is about honest ownership that opens the door to real change and freedom. When you accept responsibility, you acknowledge that every choice matters. Small decisions compound over time, shaping the trajectory of your life. This awareness encourages more thoughtful, deliberate actions instead of reactive or careless behavior. It means understanding that your daily habits, responses to challenges, and attitude all influence your results. Responsibility requires honesty. It demands that you look at your life without excuses or rationalizations. Instead of saying, "I couldn't succeed because of that person," or "the situation wasn't fair," you ask, "What role did I play, and what can I do differently moving forward?" This kind of reflection brings clarity and insight that are necessary for growth. Taking responsibility also means owning your emotions. You are in charge of how you respond to circumstances, even those outside your control. While you cannot always control what happens, you can control your attitude, mindset, and the energy you bring to each moment. This recognition strengthens resilience and reduces feelings of helplessness. When you stop blaming others, you stop giving away your power. Blame places you in the role of victim, waiting for someone else to fix things. Responsibility flips this script. It puts you in the driver's seat, ready to make choices that shape your future regardless of past setbacks. Accepting responsibility cultivates self-discipline. You begin to see that growth and success depend on consistent effort rather than luck or external factors. This realization motivates you to stay committed even when things get tough, because you know the outcome depends on your perseverance. Responsibility also invites accountability. Sharing your goals and progress with trusted people increases your commitment. When you are accountable to yourself and others, you are more likely to follow through on your promises. Accountability acts as a mirror that keeps you honest and motivated. This mindset transforms failures and mistakes into learning opportunities. Instead of denying or hiding errors, you acknowledge them openly and analyze what went wrong. This approach prevents repeating the same mistakes and fosters continuous improvement. Taking responsibility means embracing your role as the author of your story. You have the power to rewrite the narrative anytime by choosing new thoughts, habits, and actions. This sense of agency fuels hope and encourages proactive behavior rather than passive waiting. It also encourages setting clear boundaries. When you take responsibility, you protect your time, energy, and values. You recognize that you are accountable for what you allow into your life and make choices accordingly. This leads to healthier relationships and more focused priorities. A responsible mindset shifts your focus from problems to solutions. Instead of dwelling on difficulties, you ask, what can I do now and how can I improve? This forward-thinking approach increases creativity and reduces overwhelm. Taking responsibility means embracing discomfort. Growth often requires tough decisions, sacrifices, and facing fears. When you own your life fully, you accept these challenges as necessary parts of the journey rather than reasons to quit. This acceptance builds mental toughness and confidence. It also means managing your time wisely. You recognize that wasting time is a choice that affects your progress. This awareness motivates better planning, prioritization, and focus, ensuring that your actions align with your goals. Being responsible for your life includes caring for your physical and mental well-being. You understand that your health impacts your ability to perform and grow. This leads to healthier habits, such as regular exercise, proper nutrition, and sufficient rest. Taking responsibility is a form of respect for yourself and your potential. It shows that you value your dreams enough to put in the effort and make tough choices. This respect fosters self-love and strengthens your inner drive. This mindset also inspires others. When you take charge of your life, you become a role model for those around you. Your actions encourage others to adopt similar ownership, creating a positive ripple effect. It's important to remember that responsibility is not about perfection. You will make mistakes and face setbacks, but your commitment to owning your choices remains steadfast. This perseverance is what separates those who grow from those who remain stuck. Taking responsibility means being present and engaged in your life. You stop living on autopilot or waiting for circumstances to change. Instead, you actively shape your experiences through intentional choices and consistent effort. This mindset frees you from victimhood and entitlement. You stop expecting external forces to fix your problems and start being the solution yourself. This empowerment leads to greater confidence, independence, and fulfillment. Ultimately, taking responsibility for your choices and your life is the foundation of true freedom. It gives you control over your destiny and the ability to create the life you desire. By embracing this principle, you open the door to endless growth, resilience, and success. Chapter 15. Practice gratitude daily to strengthen a positive mindset. Practicing gratitude every day transforms the way you see your life and strengthens a positive mindset that fuels resilience and happiness. It shifts your focus from what's missing or going wrong to what is already present and good. This simple habit rewires your brain to notice blessings rather than burdens, creating a foundation for lasting joy and motivation. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges or pretending life is perfect. It's about acknowledging value even in difficult moments and choosing to appreciate the positives amidst the negatives. Starting a daily gratitude practice requires intention. It means setting aside time each day, no matter how brief, to reflect on things you are thankful for. This can be done mentally, spoken aloud, or written down in a journal. The act of deliberately focusing on gratitude trains your mind to seek out goodness instead of dwelling on complaints. Consistency matters. The more regularly you engage in this practice, the deeper the impact on your emotional state. Gratitude enhances awareness. When you scan your day for reasons to feel thankful, you begin to notice details you might otherwise overlook. It could be the kindness of a stranger, the warmth of the sun, the taste of your morning coffee, or the support of a loved one. These small moments accumulate and remind you that life is full of positive experiences, even if they seem ordinary or fleeting. This heightened awareness fosters mindfulness and a richer appreciation for everyday life. A powerful way to deepen gratitude is to be specific. Instead of vague statements like "I'm grateful for my family," name particular actions or qualities, such as "I'm grateful for the way my friend listened to me yesterday." Specificity makes gratitude more genuine and meaningful, strengthening the emotional connection. It also reinforces your recognition of positive contributions from people and circumstances around you. Gratitude improves mental health by reducing negative emotions such as envy, resentment, and regret. When you focus on what you have, rather than what you lack, feelings of scarcity diminish. This shift creates space for contentment and peace, lowering stress and anxiety levels. Scientific studies show that grateful people experience greater optimism and life satisfaction, proving that this mindset fosters well-being. Practicing gratitude encourages humility. Recognizing the role others play in your successes and the gifts you receive nurtures a sense of interconnectedness and respect. This humility tempers arrogance and entitlement, opening the door to stronger relationships and a more compassionate outlook. When you appreciate the support and kindness of others, you are more likely to pay it forward, creating a positive cycle. Gratitude also strengthens resilience. During hardships, remembering even small positives can provide comfort and perspective. It helps you see beyond immediate pain and challenges, reinforcing your capacity to endure and grow. This mindset does not eliminate struggle, but buffers its emotional impact, making it easier to recover and continue moving forward. Integrating gratitude into your daily routine can take many forms. Writing in a gratitude journal each morning or evening is one of the most effective methods. Listing 3 to 5 things you are thankful for anchors your day in positivity. Alternatively, expressing gratitude verbally to people in your life deepens connections and spreads goodwill. Practicing silent gratitude during meditation or moments of stillness can also calm the mind and cultivate inner peace. Gratitude expands beyond personal feelings to influence your actions. When you appreciate your circumstances, you are motivated to act with kindness and generosity. This outward expression of gratitude enriches your social life and creates a supportive environment. Acts of giving, no matter how small, reinforce your positive mindset and remind you of your capacity to contribute. Avoid turning gratitude into a mechanical exercise. The power lies in feeling the appreciation deeply, allowing it to resonate emotionally. When you engage your heart as well as your mind, gratitude becomes a transformative force rather than a rote habit. Being present and sincere in your reflections enhances their impact and integrates gratitude into your identity. Gratitude can also reshape your perspective on failure and setbacks. Instead of seeing these as purely negative, you can find lessons and growth opportunities within them. Appreciating challenges for the strength and insight they develop builds mental toughness and optimism. This balanced viewpoint prevents discouragement and encourages perseverance. Cultivating gratitude requires practice and patience. It is normal for your mind to drift toward negativity, especially in stressful times. When this happens, gently redirect your focus back to what you appreciate. Over time, this redirection becomes easier and more automatic, strengthening your ability to maintain a positive outlook regardless of circumstances. Sharing your gratitude publicly can amplify its benefits. Expressing thanks on social media, writing letters, or simply telling someone how much they mean to you spreads positivity and strengthens your social bonds. This openness fosters an environment where appreciation is valued and reciprocated. Gratitude also influences your physical health. Studies link a grateful mindset to better sleep, stronger immune function, and lower blood pressure. These effects show how powerful emotions like gratitude impact your entire being, reinforcing the importance of this daily practice. Gratitude sharpens your focus on goals and progress. Recognizing how far you have come and what you have already achieved builds momentum and confidence. This appreciation prevents burnout by reminding you that growth is happening, even if results are not yet perfect or final. The habit of gratitude transforms your language and thoughts. You begin to describe your life in terms of abundance and possibility instead of lack and limitation. This shift attracts more positive experiences and creates a mindset aligned with success and fulfillment. Every day offers countless reasons to be grateful, even in the smallest details. The ability to recognize these reasons and pause to appreciate them is a skill that enhances every aspect of your life. It nourishes your spirit, strengthens your relationships, and anchors you in a mindset that invites growth and happiness. Through consistent practice, gratitude becomes an automatic response that colors your perception and influences your choices. It empowers you to live with greater joy, resilience, and connection. This simple yet profound habit is a cornerstone of a life well lived and a mindset built to win. Chapter 16. Challenge yourself to improve at least 1% daily. Improving by just 1% every day might seem small or even insignificant at first glance, but when compounded over time, this tiny daily effort can lead to extraordinary transformation. This principle emphasizes consistent, incremental growth rather than overwhelming leaps that often lead to burnout or discouragement. Challenging yourself to improve a little each day builds momentum, develops discipline, and creates habits that compound into remarkable success. The idea is to focus on manageable steps that push you slightly beyond your current abilities. This means identifying areas where you can do better, learn more, or refine your skills and making a conscious effort to take action. These improvements don't have to be huge. Even minor adjustments in your thinking, attitude, or behavior contribute to your overall progress. The key is to remain committed and consistent so that these small gains accumulate. Approaching growth with this mindset reduces the pressure to be perfect or to achieve instant results. Instead, it fosters patience and persistence, allowing you to appreciate progress over perfection. You learn to celebrate small victories, which keeps motivation high and prevents feelings of overwhelm that often accompany big goals. This concept also encourages self-awareness. To improve daily, you must pay attention to where you currently stand and what specific actions will move you forward. Reflect on your habits, performance, and mindset to spot opportunities for improvement. This ongoing self-assessment sharpens your focus and guides your efforts effectively. 1% improvement can take many forms depending on your goals. It might mean reading a few more pages, practicing a skill a little longer, waking up earlier, or choosing healthier meals. Whatever the area, the important part is to challenge yourself just enough to stretch without breaking. This balanced approach builds confidence and reduces resistance to change. Consistency is critical because small changes repeated every day compound exponentially. For example, Improving by 1% each day for a year leads to nearly 38 times better performance than where you started. This mathematical reality highlights the power of steady effort and the folly of impatience. Small daily wins add up to life-changing results. The challenge lies in maintaining this effort when motivation dips or distractions arise. Discipline becomes your greatest ally in these moments. Committing to daily improvement means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Building this habit strengthens mental toughness and keeps you on track despite obstacles. Tracking your progress helps maintain accountability and motivation. Recording your daily improvements, no matter how small, makes your growth visible and tangible. This practice reinforces your commitment and provides evidence that your efforts are working, fueling continued action. Challenging yourself daily also means embracing discomfort. Growth often requires stepping outside your comfort zone and facing resistance. Each time you push through uncertainty, fear, or laziness, you expand your limits. This process builds resilience and prepares you for bigger challenges ahead. It's important to recognize that improvement is not always linear. Some days you may advance more than 1%, while others might feel stagnant or even regressive. Accepting this variability without losing sight of your overall trajectory sustains long-term growth. The goal is progress over time, not perfection in every moment. Developing a growth mindset is essential to this approach. Believing that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort encourages you to seek challenges and persist through setbacks. This perspective transforms failure into feedback and obstacles into opportunities for learning. Breaking larger goals into daily improvement targets makes ambitious dreams more achievable. Instead of focusing on overwhelming outcomes, concentrate on what you can do today to move closer. This step-by-step progression keeps you engaged and prevents discouragement. Surrounding yourself with people who value growth reinforces your commitment to daily improvement. When you share your goals and progress with supportive individuals, you create a network of encouragement and accountability. Their feedback and example inspire you to maintain your momentum. Incorporate habits that support your improvement goals. For instance, if you want to improve your fitness, schedule daily workouts or incremental increases in activity. If learning a language, commit to studying a few new words or phrases each day. These structured actions build a framework for continuous advancement. Embracing curiosity fuels your daily growth. Approach each day with a desire to learn and explore rather than just complete tasks. This mindset opens your mind to new ideas, skills, and perspectives that enrich your progress. Curiosity transforms routine efforts into exciting opportunities. Celebrate your incremental gains regularly. Recognizing progress boosts your confidence and reinforces the value of your efforts. These celebrations don't have to be grand. Even acknowledging your commitment quietly strengthens your resolve. Avoid comparing your 1% improvements to others' progress. Everyone's journey is unique, and focusing on your path ensures steady, personalized growth. Comparison often leads to discouragement or envy, which undermines motivation. Keep your attention on your own daily steps. Set clear, measurable goals aligned with your 1% improvement strategy. Having a destination in mind helps you prioritize daily actions and assess their impact. Clear goals create purpose and direction, making your incremental efforts meaningful. Use setbacks as learning moments rather than reasons to quit. When you encounter difficulties, analyze what happened, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. This resilience is a hallmark of those who achieve lasting success. Practice patience with yourself throughout this process. Real growth takes time, and being gentle with your progress fosters persistence. Trust that your daily improvements, compounded over weeks and months, will lead to significant breakthroughs. Developing this habit also sharpens your focus and discipline. Committing to small daily improvements demands attention to detail and deliberate effort, qualities that strengthen your overall work ethic and character. Challenge yourself not only in skills, but also in mindset. Push your mental limits by questioning assumptions, embracing feedback, and exploring new ways of thinking. Expanding your mental capacity accelerates growth across all areas of life. Recognize the value of incremental change in overcoming procrastination. Breaking tasks into tiny, manageable improvements reduces overwhelm and triggers action. This approach transforms daunting goals into achievable steps. Use visualization techniques to imagine your cumulative progress from daily improvements. Seeing yourself succeed over time creates emotional motivation and strengthens your commitment. Visualization bridges the gap between effort and outcome. Seek out opportunities to learn from mentors and role models who embody continuous improvement. Their guidance and example provide insights that accelerate your own development. Learning from others prevents unnecessary mistakes and expands your possibilities. Maintain flexibility in your approach to improvement. As you grow, reassess your goals and methods to ensure they remain relevant and effective. Adaptability keeps your progress aligned with your evolving vision. Challenge yourself to maintain this daily improvement habit, even during difficult periods. Consistency in adversity builds character and distinguishes those who succeed from those who give up. Perseverance through challenges proves your commitment and strengthens your abilities. Finally, remember that improving by 1% daily is a journey, not a destination. This mindset fosters lifelong growth, encouraging you to keep learning, evolving, and pushing yourself. Small, steady steps create a path toward mastery and fulfillment that lasts a lifetime. Chapter 17. Celebrate small wins to keep your drive alive. Celebrating small wins plays a crucial role in maintaining your motivation and sustaining long-term success. Recognizing progress, no matter how minor, fuels your drive and builds positive momentum. When you acknowledge achievements regularly, you reinforce the value of your efforts and inspire yourself to keep moving forward. These small victories act as stepping stones that guide you toward larger goals and prevent discouragement during challenging times. Often, people overlook small successes because they focus solely on big milestones. This mindset can lead to frustration and impatience, making the journey feel overwhelming or fruitless. However, appreciating incremental progress reminds you that growth is a process and that every effort counts. Each small win validates your commitment and encourages consistency. Celebrating small wins also nurtures confidence. By noticing what you have accomplished, you prove to yourself that progress is possible. This belief builds resilience and self-trust, essential qualities for overcoming obstacles. Confidence gained from small successes empowers you to take on greater challenges with optimism and courage. The way you celebrate matters. It does not need to be extravagant or time-consuming. Simple gestures like writing down your achievements, sharing your progress with a trusted friend, or taking a moment to reflect on what you've done, create meaningful recognition. These acts deepen your connection to your goals and reinforce positive habits. Acknowledging small wins keeps your mindset focused on abundance rather than scarcity. Instead of fixating on what remains to be done or what you lack, you appreciate what you have achieved. This shift in perspective reduces stress and increases satisfaction, creating a healthier approach to growth. Celebrations of small victories also help combat burnout. Long journeys towards significant goals can feel exhausting and discouraging without regular reminders of progress. Taking time to honor your achievements replenishes your energy and enthusiasm, making it easier to sustain effort over time. Small wins create a feedback loop that boosts motivation. The positive feelings generated by celebrating progress trigger dopamine release in the brain, which enhances focus and pleasure. This neurological response encourages you to continue working toward your goals, reinforcing productive behavior. This practice fosters gratitude as well. When you celebrate your wins, you become more aware of the support, opportunities, and resources contributing to your success. Gratitude enriches your experience and strengthens relationships by highlighting the positive influences in your life. Tracking your small wins visually can be a powerful motivator. Using tools like journals, checklists, or progress charts provides concrete evidence of your journey. Seeing how far you've come encourages perseverance and serves as a reminder during moments of doubt. Celebrating small wins is also a form of self-care. It acknowledges your hard work and dedication, honoring the effort you invest daily. This recognition nurtures your mental and emotional well-being, reducing negative self-talk and fostering a more compassionate relationship with yourself. Sharing your small wins with others can amplify their impact. When you communicate your progress, you invite encouragement and support. This social reinforcement strengthens your commitment and creates accountability that helps you stay on course. Celebrations should be balanced with humility. Recognizing small victories does not mean complacency or arrogance. Instead, it is an honest appraisal of progress that fuels continued effort. Maintaining this balance keeps you grounded and focused on ongoing improvement. Another benefit of celebrating small wins is that it breaks the journey into manageable segments. Large goals can feel daunting and distant, but acknowledging each step reduces overwhelm. This approach makes your path clearer and more accessible, increasing your chances of success. This habit also encourages a positive feedback culture. When you recognize your own progress regularly, you become more inclined to celebrate others' achievements. This attitude fosters supportive relationships and a growth-oriented community around you. Incorporating celebrations into your routine makes motivation habitual rather than sporadic. By setting reminders or rituals to honor your wins, you create consistency in your recognition practice. This regularity builds a stable foundation for ongoing inspiration. Celebrating small wins improves your ability to focus on what works. By identifying what led to success, you can replicate effective strategies and behaviors. This learning process sharpens your approach and accelerates progress. Avoid minimizing your achievements or waiting for perfect conditions to celebrate. Each success, no matter how small, contributes to your growth. Embracing this mindset helps you maintain enthusiasm and prevents procrastination caused by waiting for bigger accomplishments. Recognize that celebrating small wins is a skill that can be developed. Initially, you might overlook or undervalue your progress, but with practice you become more attuned to your achievements. This increased awareness enhances motivation and satisfaction. Use celebrations as opportunities to reflect on your values and priorities. Recognizing why a particular achievement matters reinforces your purpose and commitment. This alignment strengthens your sense of direction and meaning. In moments of difficulty, recalling your past small wins can provide encouragement. Remembering what you have accomplished boosts morale and reminds you of your capability. This mental boost helps you push through challenges with renewed energy. Celebrating small wins fosters a mindset of continuous improvement. Each victory highlights areas where you have grown and opens your mind to further development. This outlook keeps you engaged and eager to learn. Incorporate diverse forms of celebration to keep your practice fresh and enjoyable. These can range from quiet moments of gratitude to social gatherings or personal rewards. Variety enhances your connection to your progress and prevents celebrations from becoming routine. Understand that your drive is sustained not only by big achievements, but by the accumulation of small successes. Consistently recognizing and honoring these moments ensures your motivation remains strong and your journey fulfilling. Ultimately, celebrating small wins is about honoring the process as much as the outcome. It reminds you that growth is a series of steps taken with dedication and courage. This recognition fuels your passion and keeps your drive alive for the long haul. Chapter 18. Replace excuses with actions that create real results. Excuses act as barriers that prevent you from reaching your full potential and achieving meaningful progress. They mask fear, discomfort, or uncertainty by providing reasons to delay or avoid action. Replacing excuses with deliberate actions is essential to producing real results and transforming your life. Every excuse you dismiss is a step closer to empowerment and accomplishment. Excuses often stem from a desire to protect yourself from failure or judgment. While understandable, this protective mechanism traps you in stagnation. The moment you recognize excuses for what they are, obstacles disguised as reasons, you gain the clarity to choose differently. This awareness is the first step toward change. Actions, unlike excuses, are tangible steps that move you forward. They require courage, commitment, and persistence. When you focus on action, you break free from paralysis and create momentum. Each small step you take accumulates into significant achievements, proving that progress is built on doing rather than rationalizing. Developing the habit of replacing excuses with actions starts with honesty. Admit when you are making excuses and identify their root cause. Are you afraid of failing? Is the task uncomfortable or unfamiliar? Understanding these triggers allows you to address them directly instead of hiding behind avoidance. Shift your mindset to view challenges as opportunities rather than threats. This perspective change reduces the need for excuses because difficulties become chances to learn and grow. When you embrace challenges, taking action feels natural and necessary rather than optional or risky. Set clear intentions before starting any task. When your purpose is defined, you are less likely to waver or justify inaction. Intentions act as a compass that guides your behavior and keeps you aligned with your goals, reducing the space excuses can occupy. Break larger goals into manageable actions. Overwhelming objectives often breed excuses because they seem unreachable. By dividing goals into small, achievable steps, you create a clear roadmap that encourages movement. Focusing on what you can do now replaces hesitation with progress. Accountability is a powerful tool for overcoming excuses. Share your goals and plans with trusted people who will hold you responsible. Knowing that others are watching your commitment motivates you to act even when your internal drive falters. Build discipline through consistent practice. Discipline is the muscle that enables you to act regardless of motivation or mood. The more you exercise this muscle by choosing action over excuse, the stronger it becomes. This strength ensures you keep moving forward in all circumstances. Replace vague reasons with specific plans. Instead of saying, "I don't have time," decide when and how you will work on your priorities. Scheduling tasks and setting deadlines transform excuses into actionable commitments that demand follow-through. Use failure as feedback, not justification for excuses. When things don't go as planned, analyze what happened and adjust your approach. This problem-solving mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones and prevents excuses from gaining ground. Practice self-compassion while maintaining accountability. Recognize that slipping into excuses occasionally is normal, but avoid letting them become habits. Gently correct your course and recommit to action, understanding that growth is a process, not a straight line. Create an environment that supports action. Remove distractions, organize your workspace, and surround yourself with motivating influences. A supportive environment reduces friction and makes it easier to choose action over excuse. Adopt a results-oriented focus. Concentrate on what you want to achieve, rather than why it might be difficult. Visualize the benefits of taking action, and let these outcomes inspire you to push past excuses. Replace negative self-talk with empowering language. Excuses often thrive on doubts and limiting beliefs. By consciously changing your internal dialogue to affirm your capabilities and commitment, you reduce the power of excuses and boost your confidence. Celebrate progress made through action. Recognizing the positive results of your efforts reinforces the habit of choosing doing over delaying. This positive reinforcement builds enthusiasm and strengthens your resolve. Challenge yourself to respond to excuses immediately with a productive action. For example, if you think, "I'm too tired," commit to just 5 minutes of work. Often starting is the hardest part, and this small action can lead to sustained effort. Embrace discomfort as a necessary part of growth. Excuses often arise to avoid feeling uneasy, but discomfort signals that you are stretching your limits. Learning to tolerate and move through discomfort increases your capacity for achievement. Focus on what you can control. Excuses often arise from fixating on external circumstances beyond your influence. Redirect your energy toward actions within your power, which leads to tangible progress and reduces frustration. Develop rituals that cue action. Establishing routines removes decision fatigue and excuses by making productive behavior automatic. Whether it's a morning workout or evening review, rituals create reliable patterns of action. Keep a log of excuses and replace each with a corresponding action plan. This practice increases self-awareness and prepares you to face similar situations with constructive responses in the future. Surround yourself with people who value action and hold high standards. Their example and encouragement push you to rise above excuses and maintain a results-driven mindset. Use visualization to imagine the consequences of not acting. Seeing the cost of excuses can motivate you to choose action instead. Visualizing success also strengthens your desire to follow through. Stay present and focused during tasks. Mindfulness reduces wandering thoughts that often lead to excuses. Concentrating fully on the moment enhances productivity and satisfaction. Recognize that every excuse avoided is a victory that strengthens your willpower. Each success builds momentum and reshapes your identity towards someone who takes charge of their life. Replace comparison with self-focus. Excuses sometimes arise from feeling inadequate compared to others. Concentrate on your own progress and actions to maintain motivation and reduce self-sabotage. Commit to taking responsibility for your results. Ownership means acknowledging that your choices and actions determine your outcomes, not external circumstances or excuses. Remember that action creates clarity. Sometimes fear or uncertainty fuel excuses, but taking even small steps generates information and confidence to continue. Focus on solutions rather than problems. When faced with obstacles, train yourself to ask, "What can I do?" instead of making excuses. This proactive approach accelerates problem solving and progress. Trust in your ability to learn and adapt. Excuses often stem from fear of failure, but believing in your capacity to grow empowers you to act despite uncertainty. Ultimately, replacing excuses with actions is about reclaiming control over your life. It is a conscious decision to stop waiting and start doing. This shift creates a powerful momentum that transforms goals into reality and builds a life defined by results rather than regrets. Chapter 19. Stay disciplined with your routines, no matter the situation. Discipline in your routines forms the backbone of sustained success and personal growth. It is the commitment to your chosen path, the refusal to waver regardless of external circumstances or internal feelings. Staying disciplined means honoring your priorities consistently, even when motivation fades or life throws unexpected challenges your way. This steadfastness transforms habits into reliable pillars that support your goals and character development. Routines provide structure and predictability, which reduce decision fatigue and increase efficiency. When you establish effective routines and adhere to them no matter the situation, you create a foundation that propels you forward. Discipline in routines shifts your focus from fluctuating emotions to steadfast action, ensuring steady progress regardless of obstacles. Life is inherently unpredictable. Unexpected demands, setbacks, and changes can disrupt your rhythm. However, disciplined routines serve as an anchor in turbulent times. They offer stability and a sense of control when external chaos threatens to derail your efforts. This resilience arises from the consistent practice of your routines. To cultivate discipline, start by defining routines that align with your values and objectives. These routines should be purposeful and support your growth. The clarity of intention behind each habit fuels your commitment and helps you resist distractions or excuses. Implement routines that are realistic and sustainable. Overly ambitious schedules may lead to burnout and inconsistency. Instead, build manageable routines that you can maintain daily. This steady practice strengthens your discipline muscle over time. Anticipate obstacles that might challenge your discipline and plan for them. Whether it is fatigue, social commitments, or unexpected work demands, having strategies in place prepares you to adapt without abandoning your routine. Flexibility within discipline enables you to stay committed despite varying circumstances. Accountability enhances your ability to stick to routines. Sharing your plans with others or tracking your adherence creates external pressure to remain consistent. This support system encourages persistence even when internal motivation wanes. Mindset plays a critical role in maintaining discipline. Cultivate a perspective that values long-term benefits over short-term comfort. Recognize that discomfort or inconvenience in the moment often precedes meaningful growth. Embracing this mindset shifts your attitude from resistance to acceptance of discipline's demands. Use reminders and cues to trigger your routines. Visual prompts, alarms, or habit stacking, linking new routines to established ones, help automate your behaviors. These tools reduce reliance on willpower and make disciplined action habitual. Celebrate the consistency of your efforts, not just the outcomes. Recognizing your ability to stay disciplined reinforces positive behavior and motivates continued adherence. This internal reward system sustains your practice over the long term. Self-awareness is essential for discipline. Regularly assess how your routines serve your goals and well-being. Adjust them, if necessary, to ensure they remain effective and aligned with your evolving needs. This reflection prevents stagnation and maintains your engagement. Avoid perfectionism, which can undermine discipline. Missing a step or encountering setbacks does not mean failure. What matters is your ability to return to your routines promptly and without self-judgment. This resilience builds true discipline. Visualize the benefits of disciplined routines to strengthen your motivation. Picture the increased energy, improved skills, and enhanced well-being that consistent practice brings. This positive imagery reinforces your commitment when challenges arise. Discipline in routines enhances time management. By committing to structured habits, you reduce procrastination and increase productivity. This control over your time frees resources for creative and strategic pursuits. Recognize the power of small, consistent actions. Discipline is not about monumental efforts, but daily choices repeated faithfully. These choices compound into significant achievements and personal transformation. Build emotional resilience alongside discipline. Life's ups and downs can trigger distractions or discouragement. Strengthening your emotional endurance helps you maintain routines despite fluctuations in mood or circumstance. Create an environment that supports your routines. Organize your physical space to minimize barriers and distractions. A conducive environment simplifies disciplined action and reduces friction. Learn to say no to activities or commitments that interfere with your routines. Prioritizing your growth requires boundaries that protect your time and energy. This assertiveness is a vital aspect of discipline. Incorporate rest and recovery within your routines. Discipline does not mean relentless effort without pause. Balanced routines that include downtime prevent burnout and sustain long-term consistency. Use journaling or reflection to track your routine adherence and its effects. Documenting your progress provides insight, reinforces commitment, and highlights areas for improvement. Mentally prepare for challenges to your discipline each day. Anticipating moments of weakness allows you to respond proactively rather than reactively. This preparation strengthens your resolve. Draw inspiration from role models who exemplify disciplined living. Observing their habits and attitudes can motivate you to uphold your routines with similar dedication. Stay mindful of your purpose behind each routine. When you connect daily actions to your larger vision, discipline becomes meaningful and self-sustaining. Practice patience with your progress. Developing strong discipline takes time, and consistency is more important than speed. Trust in the gradual strengthening of your habits. Avoid multitasking that disrupts routine focus. Concentrate fully on each habit to ensure quality and embed the behavior deeply. Use positive affirmations to reinforce your identity as a disciplined person. Language shapes belief, and repeated affirmations build confidence and commitment. Recognize that discipline is a choice renewed every moment. Your daily decisions to adhere to routines define your success and character. Maintain a sense of gratitude for your ability to practice discipline. Appreciating this capacity nurtures humility and encourages perseverance. Ultimately, staying disciplined with your routines regardless of situation is a declaration of your commitment to yourself. It empowers you to transcend circumstance and build the life you envision through steady, unwavering action. Chapter 20. Push yourself harder when you feel like giving up. There is a crucial moment in every journey when the urge to give up feels overwhelming. That moment tests your commitment and reveals your true strength. Pushing yourself harder when you feel like quitting is the defining action that separates those who succeed from those who settle. It requires more than physical effort. It demands mental toughness, clarity of purpose, and a deep understanding of why you started. When exhaustion and doubt creep in, it is natural to want to stop. The body tires and the mind questions the value of continuing. However, this discomfort signals growth, a sign that you are stretching beyond familiar limits. Embracing this tension instead of surrendering transforms adversity into opportunity. Your resilience deepens as you confront and surpass the desire to quit. The decision to push harder begins with awareness. Recognize the signs of fatigue or discouragement as they arise, rather than reacting impulsively to these feelings. Pause to observe them objectively. This mindfulness creates space for deliberate choice, allowing you to move forward with intention instead of giving in to defeat. Clarify your motivation by revisiting your purpose. Reflect on why you embarked on this path and what achieving your goal means to you. Connecting with this deeper meaning fuels your determination and reminds you that temporary struggle serves a greater vision. Purpose becomes a powerful source of energy when willpower wanes. Break the moment of overwhelm into smaller challenges. Instead of facing the entire mountain, focus on taking one more step, completing one more task, or enduring just a few more minutes. This micro-focus makes pushing harder manageable and less intimidating. Small victories in difficult moments build momentum and confidence. Visualize success vividly. Imagine the satisfaction of crossing the finish line, the pride in your accomplishment, and the impact of your effort. Visualization activates motivation and helps your mind generate the strength needed to persevere. This mental rehearsal creates a positive cycle of energy and action. Change your internal dialogue to support endurance. Replace thoughts of doubt with affirmations of strength and capability. Phrases like, "I am stronger than this challenge," or "This moment will pass and I will succeed," reinforce resilience. Language shapes experience, and positive self-talk energizes persistence. Use physical cues to boost energy. Adjust your posture. Take deep breaths or splash cold water on your face to awaken your body. These simple acts can reset your focus and combat lethargy. Your physical state influences mental determination, so caring for your body supports your ability to push harder. Seek support when needed. Sharing your struggle with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach can provide encouragement and perspective. External reinforcement reminds you that you are not alone and that others believe in your capacity to overcome. This connection strengthens resolve. Remember that failure is not the opposite of success, but part of the process. Encountering setbacks or feeling like quitting is normal and does not define your journey. Each challenge faced and pushed through adds to your experience and prepares you for future obstacles. Commit to action despite fear or discomfort. Courage is not absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Pushing harder requires bravery to confront uncertainty and pain head-on. This courage builds character and moves you closer to your goals. Develop rituals to sustain effort in tough moments. Whether it is a motivating playlist, a mantra, or a brief meditation, consistent practices prepare you to face difficulty with readiness. Rituals create reliable pathways to access determination when natural motivation dips. Focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate every moment you push beyond your limits, no matter how small. Acknowledging incremental achievements nurtures confidence and keeps you engaged. Progress fuels perseverance and diminishes the temptation to quit. Maintain patience with yourself during challenging times. Growth is a gradual process, and pushing harder does not always produce immediate results. Trust the cumulative effect of consistent effort and keep your eyes on the long-term outcome. Use setbacks as lessons rather than reasons to stop. Analyze what caused difficulty and adapt your approach accordingly. This problem-solving mindset turns obstacles into tools for improvement, making you stronger and more prepared. Stay present in the moment. Focusing on the here and now prevents the mind from becoming overwhelmed by the magnitude of the challenge. Concentrating fully on current actions increases efficiency and makes pushing harder more achievable. Cultivate gratitude for the ability to strive and improve. Appreciating your health, resources, and opportunities provides a positive framework that supports endurance. Gratitude reduces stress and enhances mental clarity. Manage your energy wisely. Recognize when you need brief rest or nourishment to sustain effort. Discipline in self-care ensures that pushing harder is sustainable rather than destructive. Believe in your capacity to adapt and grow. Challenges stretch your limits, but also expand them. Each time you push through, you redefine what is possible for yourself. Avoid comparing your journey to others. Focus on your unique path and progress. Comparison often breeds discouragement, whereas self-focus fosters motivation and resilience. Set clear, realistic goals that inspire action. Knowing exactly what you want to accomplish directs your energy efficiently and prevents confusion or distraction. Embrace discomfort as a sign of meaningful effort. Pain and struggle indicate you are moving beyond comfort zones where growth occurs. Use mental contrasting by imagining both success and obstacles. This balanced visualization prepares you to face challenges realistically while maintaining optimism. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during tough times, acknowledging effort without harsh judgment. Compassion supports mental health and encourages sustainable persistence. Create a support network of like-minded individuals. Surrounding yourself with people who also push through difficulty provides encouragement and shared wisdom. Remind yourself that quitting is a choice, not a necessity. You always have the power to continue, even if the path is hard. Celebrate resilience as a core strength. Each moment you push harder adds to your identity as a person who overcomes challenges. Maintain flexibility in your methods while holding firm to your goals. Adapt your tactics without abandoning your vision. Use physical activity to refresh your mind. Exercise or movement breaks stimulate energy and improve focus for renewed effort. Trust the process of incremental improvement. Small steps forward accumulate into significant breakthroughs. Recognize that the discomfort of pushing harder is temporary, but the rewards of persistence endure. By consistently choosing to push yourself harder when you want to give up, you build an unshakable foundation for success. This commitment shapes not only your achievements, but your character, creating a life defined by courage, resilience, and relentless forward movement.